Welcome to Bless Dem Boys, a podcast whose English teacher and gym teacher are getting the divorce, actually. We're one Saints fan and one Cowboys fan, one fan of who dat, and one fan of dat win. We're here to give weekly takes, game recaps, bad betting picks, game previews, and the occasional Seinfeld reference.
This week, we are concluding our divisional previews with the AFC and NFC West. And our patron saint is someone who has played for both AFC and NFC West teams. His tight end, John Phillips. Phillips was selected in the 6th round, 208th overall, 2009 draft out of the University of Virginia by the Cowboys. In his first season with the Cowboys, Phillips was used mostly as a blocking tight end and was starting to push Martellus Bennett for backup tight end behind Jason Witten in the 2010 preseason before tearing his ACL in the preseason opener. So he obviously missed that entire season. In 2011, Phillips returned to the Cowboys in a backup role, posting a career-high 15 catches for 101 yards, along with 15 special teams tackles and a forced fumble. After the 2012 season, Phillips signed with the then San Diego Chargers, where he served as a blocking specialist, but until being put on IR following ACL and MCL tears in his right knee during the team's 15th game. Phillips would return to the Chargers in 2014 and remain there through 2015. In 2016, Phillips signed with the Broncos before being released on November 5th of that year. 2 days later, November 7th, 2016, Phillips was claimed off waivers by the Saints, where he re-signed in 2017 and then again in 2018 before being released by the team on September 1st of 2018. October 30th of 2018, he was signed by the Arizona Cardinals, but did not re-sign after the season. And then finally, May 20th, 2019, Phillips signs with the Kansas City Chiefs, but was released 8 days later. And that would prove the end of his career. And all totaled for his career, Phillips appeared in 120 games, 43 starts, 58 receptions, 426 yards with 5 touchdowns. I'm Paul, the Saints fan.
I'm Brendan, the Cowboys fan.
We're your hosts. Izzy, tell them what time it is.
Yeah, that's it. It's go time. Let's see you lift that.
Mr. Mandelbaum, please.
It's go time.
This one's for you, Pop. It's go time.
It's go time.
You've been married 3 times.
That's it! It's go time!
It's go time.
All right. It is go time. And we're almost at go time for the football season.
This is our last division preview, and then we get to actually talk about games next week.
Yeah, we get to preview some week 1 action. Well, we'll talk about some college games this week. So I guess
week 0.
And shout out to YouTube TV and Fox Sports for figuring it out, so we don't have any blackouts this week.
I'll say they did figure it out. I didn't see the announcement come out. I just saw that they were.
There was a short-term agreement, so there'll be no blackouts this year. But they are still working towards a longer-term agreement, is what I'm read.
Sure that'll happen very quickly.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Because it was getting I think like 4:00 our time, Central Time, was the deadline today, and then like right before 4:00, somebody tweeted out a message.
You can't be missing Ohio State and Texas because that game's on Fox, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
That's a problem.
Well, and then my question was going to be like, well, so what happens with Sunday tickets? So I have Sunday ticket. So like what? I just wouldn't get all the Fox games
That's
on
a good
YouTube?
question.
You know what I mean?
I don't know. Good question.
Well, luckily we don't have to find out. So, all right, let's get into a few housekeeping items here. If you want to contact the show, email is blessdemboys@gmail.com. You want to follow us on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, at bless_dem_boys. I checked today. I think we're over 20 followers now on the X. You can follow myself. I'm at Paul Elliott _316. Brandon's at Ball from Grace. We're on Blue Sky also. Not as many followers on Blue Sky. I think we're still in the single digits there, but we're working our way up.
Slowly but surely.
Slowly, very, very slowly. You can also, so if you're listening to us right now, we're obviously on YouTube live here. So thank you for checking us out. You can also check us out on Spotify and Apple. We ask that you leave any rating and review. Tell your friends, tell your families, tell your enemies. Tell the bots. I had a new bot follow me the other day, which was exciting.
Did you reach out? Did you tell him about the show?
No, that was good.
Oh, I get the other day I actually had like how you can get like DM requests from accounts that don't follow you sometimes. So I had
never had that happen, but okay, sure.
So I had one of those from an account. Let me see if I still like have it in my like DMs. Oh, here it is. Elsa. And this was back when I still had the name Desmond Bain and Chiad as my Twitter name. Okay. And she DM'd and said, "Desmond, what's your favorite NBA team?" Her name is Elsa on here. Oh, and the account is now suspended.
Oh, that's
shocker.
That's a shame.
That's a shame.
Speaking of which, I need to make sure we let the folks know that we're live here.
Oh yeah, I gotta tell them. Spread the word,
live, pal.
I would also like to point out, as I pulled up my phone to look at my DM, the Angels are really terrible.
Oh yeah,
they're pretty bad.
Well, I mean, the Astros lost to the Rockies last night. Shout out to Donnie, the
Broncos / Rockies fan.
Broncos / Rockies fan.
I don't know if do you think does Donnie claim the Rockies?
The Rockies? Yeah, I think he does, but like right now he's kind of like keeps it on the down low, if you will.
Yeah, you don't want people finding out about that.
That's not gonna be good for business.
That's not gonna be good for anybody.
Okay, there you go. We are live.
You tell him, Paul.
All right. Okay. So we'll get into the football talk here in a minute. But before we do that, we here at Dem Boyz do pride ourselves on being able to discuss other things.
Where are you at, George?
But enough about fish. I can discuss other things,
Yeah, Brandon, looks like you got a big. Speaking of big fish, you got
yes,
something big to discuss here.
So last weekend, this past Saturday, we were scheduled to have my dad and I have done this one fantasy league since I was in high school together, and so usually they'll come down to visit for the draft, and we'll do it together online. Every now and then we'll do an in-person one, but we haven't done that lately. But they were supposed to come down on Saturday, and then on Wednesday or Thursday, my dad calls me and he's like, "Hey, do you want to drive up to Dallas with me on Sunday after the draft, and then we'll just drive back afterwards?" I was like, "This is a 8-hour round trip, basically." I was like,
yeah.
I was gonna say why, because my initial reaction is not really. I don't want to do a 7-hour road trip. But so my
honest answer, yeah.
My dad had won this contest. Not any sort of Seinfeld-connected contest.
No.
A drawing. He won a drawing that he had entered.
That's better.
With American Airlines. So he won a brunch with Darren Woodson, who is and our listeners know is my favorite Cowboy all time. Also, friend of the show, Landon McCool, his favorite Cowboy all time. So I was like, well, yeah, now I'll drive up there. So we ended up changing plans. So we ended up meeting them in Dallas on Friday evening, And then like Saturday, we did the draft Saturday morning. We hung out Saturday evening, and then the brunch was on Sunday morning. So it was at the Admirals Club in the DFW airport. So we had a bit of a debacle getting over there because we got on a side road and then we couldn't get on the main highway to exit onto the place where we needed to go. And we're like, it's like 9 o'clock and we're like, we need to get over there and we can't get on the highway. And so finally we found an airport police officer, and I was like, we need to get to Terminal D. And he's like, just follow me. And so like he like drove, and so he got us to where we needed to go. We got the parking situation figured out too, and then so we go in there, and of course, like they tell you to wear Cowboys gear, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna wear my Darren Woodson jersey. And so so we get in, and they take us up into the Admirals Club where I think there were 10 winners plus everyone got to bring a guest. So there were and I think a couple of people weren't able to make it, and so it was like 18 people or so. And so we sit there, we get brunch, they serve us food. The food was really good. And then like he comes out, and so like it was a long table, and I was sitting at the on one side, and he walked in behind me, and like he saw my jersey, of course.
Oh,
and like
nice.
he's like, oh, I like this, and like grabbed it, patted it on the back. And then he did like they did like a question and answer session and everything where they kind of talked about his sort of like road to the NFL. He talked about how he was originally from Phoenix. So he's like an Arizona State guy, but he grew up in Phoenix when there was no team there because the Cardinals were still in St. Louis. And so he said his sister used to beat him up and make him watch the Steelers games. And so he grew up a Steelers fan. And so he like, when he got the call that he had been drafted, like his buddy was like, I got some good news and bad news. He said, well, what's the good news? Good news, you've just been drafted second round. The bad news is it's those damn Cowboys. Oh, and apologies for I know our family.
Sorry,
we're going to lose our family friendly rating here.
Plug.
And then he talked about
the ears, buddy.
Yeah, he talked about his welcome to the NFL moment. So he said he showed up for rookie mini camp, and they were in like a video session with Dave Campo, and he's showing them film talking about this is how we run cover 2, this is how we run cover 4, whatever. And somebody just like kicks the door open and walks in a towel. And so like me and everybody else were like, oh, I bet this is Charles Haley. And so walks in and then drops the towel and then starts telling us like, you were brought here to help us win a championship. And so it's Michael Irvin is the guy.
Okay.
And Darren said he was like just sitting there. He's like, just like keep your eyes elevated. He's like, why is this guy naked in the room? And he said that was his welcome to the NFL moment. He kind of also talked about like the guys who he thought were leaders on the team. Like everyone knows about Michael, and he was loud and boisterous.
Right.
Troy would be pretty vocal at times too. But he said the two guys that he thought, like on the offensive side of the ball, the guy was Daryl Johnston, just because he was like one of those hard workers, hard-nosed players, and he didn't talk much. So when he did speak, you knew like, hey, we need to listen.
Yep.
And then Darren and Daryl both, like, even though they had like made multiple Pro Bowls or they had been named All Pros or whatever, they still played special teams. Like, so they were committed to like just doing the little things as well. So that was fun. He said the guy on defense who everyone talked to was or looked up to was Tony Tolbert, who was another one of those like hard workers who didn't necessarily talk a lot, but when he talked, you knew to listen. So it was really good. And then we got to do pictures and he also passed around. He wore his Super Bowl ring from Super Bowl 28. And so he passed that around the table and we got to take pictures with it, which was cool. I posted that and then we retweeted it from the account. Then the other thing was I got him to sign my football here. So
nice.
Which I have his autograph on like a mini helmet just by itself, just him.
Yeah.
So I got it. I have this one football that I have that has like multiple signatures on it. So it's like a really like super weird collection of signatures. Because my wife So I'll go through some of them. So like we've got Miles Austin over here, like a small, like a quick signature. Montre Holland, number 69, nice. Tony Romo, who I like managed to corner outside as he was coming out of the locker room. He was coming out and he was on the phone, and like as he was walking out.
Who was the one who was the player you stalked?
That was Terrence Newman. That's Terrence
Newman. Okay.
No, so Tony was coming out of the locker room. Like we'd gotten all these other signatures, and Tony was coming out of the locker room, and he was on the phone, and he like just kind of turned and walked toward the bus, and there were only like a handful of us standing out there. And so like I had a job interview that day, and it had gone like really, really badly, and I was having trouble finding a job just out of college. And I go, Tony, come on, I've had a really bad day. And he stopped and turned around and came back and signed the football.
That was nice.
I've also, so I've Stephen McGee, former Aggie legend.
Oh yeah, I remember that guy.
Yeah, Anthony Spencer, Jesse Hawley, Mr. Fourth and Long, and Orlando Scandrick, and then the other one, Mr. Sam Hurd, who was who I believe is actually out of prison now.
Oh, good. That's good to hear.
So good to hear.
It's good to hear.
Because my wife, her first job out of college was working for his sister, and so like she's the one who got us on the field. Sam Hurd's sister.
Hurd's sister.
Yeah, so he got us on. She was able to get us on the field to get a lot of those autographs. So that was my weekend. So pretty eventful. I had 2 fantasy football drafts. Yeah. The one I talked about Saturday. And then my work league drafted Monday, and I'm actually pretty happy with how that team ended up. Yeah. I had the 4th pick, and I took Jahmyr Gibbs.
Okay.
And then coming back around, I got Brian Thomas, the wide receiver from Jacksonville. So I felt pretty good about that. Yeah. Sunday we went to, or Saturday night we went to a park.
How big of a league?
It's only 10 people, so you're like end up going pretty deep there. I also finished the White Lotus season 1, which I think last time I talked about the episodes 3 through 5. It was fine, pretty much like you kind of. I did the pooping. I did. There's a lot of stuff that I can say I did not. I didn't need to see in the show.
Yeah.
So
So I don't remember season 2 that well, and season 3 is the most recent season, and I watched it, and I know like I guess what I'm trying to say is like I think it gets better in terms of like, well, no, there's still some screwed up stuff, but like it, yeah.
I watched like the first like 10 minutes of the 2nd season.
Okay.
Like premiere, and I saw like who was on it. So like Aubrey Plaza's in there, and then what's her name? Who also was on season 1, who I can't think of her name for some reason.
Jennifer Coolidge.
Yes, she's on there again, right? Which I wasn't expecting to have a recurring character. And then what else was I going to say about the first? I was just going to say that like based on the cast from the first season, I wasn't expecting to say there was a lot of I didn't need to see that material in there. So
yeah,
but that's how it works out sometimes.
Yeah, it's
So how would you rank the seasons if you were going to rank them?
Oh gosh, I mean they're all like I said. I really don't remember season 1 and 2 that much. Season 3 is pretty good. I will say season 3 in the moment did feel like kind of a step down from
1 and 2.
But I don't know. Yeah, but I don't know what I would say is.
Well, given how memorable the first 2 seasons were, I'm not sure why.
Yeah, I guess I'd go in the same order. So like 1, 2, 3, like just in the order that they.
I didn't realize
season 2's
I didn't realize
Season two's
season 2 was
pretty
in
good,
it.
huh?
It's in Italy.
Yeah. F. Murray Abraham is in the season, if I remember correctly. You just mentioned Aubrey Plaza.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
The guy, I recognize the guy who like had the sunglasses, he's not with Aubrey Plaza, but he's with, like, there's two couples. Like, there's the Aubrey
Yeah, he's
Plaza
the other-
couple.
yeah.
He's the other couple guy.
Yeah,
And like he was in that one show, or that one movie series, that Divergent. Did you ever see that?
I think I want to say my wife. Oh, Donnie in the chat. He says he sees season 2 is the best one.
Oh, okay. Noted. Well, that's good to know.
Which I do remember season 2 being good, being like really good. So
I remember because Divergent came out, like, it was like right after the
Hunger Games.
So I read all the Hunger Games books and like mostly liked those. So I was like, well, I'll read Divergent because it's, kind of the same sort of material.
Right.
But like I got like halfway through the first book and I was like, this is not for me.
So
and then my wife like read them and said and called them like a guilty pleasure.
Okay. So my wife loves the Hunger Games movies.
Mm-hmm. Those are good movies.
Yeah, and then she like just one day decided to binge watch the Divergent, because I think there's 3 movies in the Divergent series. So she just decided one day to just watch them, and I don't think she's revisited them since. So
I think they were, because former Aaron Rodgers girlfriend,
Shailene Woodley,
Shailene Woodley was in there, and so I remember, I think the last one, I think they didn't do very well, and so they ended up with the last movie is like straight to TV, which is like,
that might be right. You might be right. Yeah.
I think that's what ended up happening for like the last movie, or because it's a trilogy in the books, but I think they did 4 movies, kind of like how Harry Potter did, and I think Hunger Games, like they split the last one into 2 parts, and so
yep. I never was big into any of those. I think like in terms of those kinds of movies, they never caught on to me with me.
Hunger Games was good. I actually enjoyed Hunger Games, and Jennifer Lawrence is great.
Yeah, I think I got a little desensitized to Hunger Games because my wife, she'll just have them.
She's seen them like a million times.
So it's like I've seen, and she likes. I think she's more partial to maybe the second one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I think she's more partial to the second one. But anyway,
well, that's it for me.
Anything else?
Nah. What did you get up to, Paul?
So nothing nearly exciting as meeting Darren Woodson. Did you ask him to come on the pod? You should have.
No, I should have. I
did
did tell him,
Darren, big fan.
Look, I got a podcast for you. I got an opportunity.
Got a podcast for you. I did see him. So like right after you texted me all about meeting him, I was on YouTube or something, and the algorithm fed me him on a podcast talking about
what he would do if he made the Hall of Fame. Did you see that clip?
Yeah, that's the clip. Yeah.
Do you know what the White House is?
I know. So no. Do I want to know what the White House is?
So in the 90s, and like I haven't. So I'm waiting. The next thing I'm going to watch is, and I told my wife she has to watch this with me, is the Netflix series about the 90s Cowboys.
Okay, so you haven't seen it yet?
No, but it's been just because we've been on the road, and then she's been reading, and so like that's next up, and I'm making her watch it with me. So,
I'm sure that'll be fine. Yeah, I'm sure.
So back in the 90s, this is before social media and everything. So the Cowboys had this special property called the White House, where the players could go and bring women and alcohol and other miscellaneous narcotics for enjoyment. And so this was all like kept on the hush hush. There's actually like, if you get a chance, there's a book called Boys Will Be Boys by Jeff Pearlman, who's written a lot of different
Okay.
like sports books, like nonfiction. Like he did the Showtime Lakers. He did the Mets, the Mets in '86, like the '86 Mets. He
Oh,
did
yeah.
that team. And then Boys Will Be Boys is about the '90s Cowboys dynasty, and it like that book is so good, and like you learn like so much stuff about the team from it. So highly recommend that to anybody out there. So
Yeah,
that's what
I
the White House is.
I almost asked you if you wanted to do like a live watch along on the Netflix series, but I was like, yeah, no, he can watch it. I'm good. I'm
Yeah,
fine.
I'm looking forward
I'll
to it.
get
I've heard it's awesome.
Yeah, I've heard good things. Somebody, I forget who it was. Somebody I think was on Dan Lebatard's show this week and called it decent or a sanitized version or sanitized.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there's like some stuff that they like couldn't talk about.
Right. You can't. Yeah, you can't tell the whole story.
Right.
I did see the clip of like Jimmy Johnson denying them food. They lost the game so bad. They went to serve the meal on the plane, and Jimmy's like, they ain't eating.
It's like coffees for closers, sort of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So
all right, so let's see what I got up to this week. So my Criterion Challenge knocked out 2 more movies on that one. The first one is we've talked about this director before, William Friedkin. He directed The Exorcist and French Connection.
Friedkin is the name of the family that
Right.
owns the company I work at. So
yeah, I know, yeah. Maybe you work for him. I don't know. I think he's no longer with us, but yeah. So William Friedkin. So I'm sure you've seen on social media, Criterion will do these closet picks. So like they bring the Criterion closet around, and they have people go in the closet and they pick their movies. So one of William Friedkin's picks was this movie. It's a German movie. I will not try to pronounce the name.
Well, that's good because we do want to try to remain as family friendly as possible. I'm looking at the name on here, and I don't know if we.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do.
No wonder it's in the closet.
Right. So if you look this up on IMDb, the title will just be M, the letter M.
Is Mortar does that have to do with the Hobbits?
Murder.
No,
Mortar.
No,
it's
not
the
Mordor.
German word for murder.
Oh, do you think that's where he got Mordor?
Could be. Who knows?
We're on to something.
We're Tolkien. Tolkien,
yeah.
we got you.
Yeah.
Tolkien, we got you.
We're on to you.
But yeah, so this movie stars Peter Lorre as a. It's obviously this is another one. Cue the Winnie the Pooh meme. Another subtitle.
Oh, Mr. Subtitle over here.
I did think about that while watching the movie, but it's in German. It's in German, and basically the story is there's a child killer. There's no other way to put it, on the loose in this town, and
what? So he's killing children. He's not a child that's killing.
No. He is a child. He is killing children. Yes.
Okay.
So the crime bosses in town get together because they realize that like until this guy's found, the cops are going to be hassling us more. So we're going to find him, basically. And so they band together to try to find this guy, and yeah, it's for it being with subtitles, it's not bad. It goes by pretty quick. I want to say less than 2 hours. It's not 90 pages. But it's definitely a movie that you can see its influence. Like if you think about, if you watch it and you think about, like, you'll see things that like, oh, I think I've seen that in other movies. Like I've seen that because it is from like the 1930s. Yeah, I want to say it's like pretty far back. It's directed by Fritz Lang. Yeah. And then another movie from the 1980s that I watched is called Brazil. This is a movie by Terry Gilliam. If that name sounds familiar.
Monty Python.
Yeah.
I
But
know Terry Gilliam.
he also directed 12 Monkeys, if you've seen that movie from the 90s. But this movie, Brazil, so it's based in this like dystopian future where everything is very bureaucratic, and Jonathan Pryce, who you might know from let's see, I'm trying to think what you would know him from. If you've seen the more recent G.I. Joe movies, like the live action G.I. Joe movies, he's the no, hold on, I got to look him up because I had one. I was
I
like,
have not
when
seen
I was
the more recent G.I. Joe movies. I didn't even know the more recent G.I. Joe movies. While you're doing that,
if you good.
So the other day I saw a preview for a new Mortal Kombat movie coming out.
Yeah, with
so,
Carl Urban as
So it's Mortal Kombat 2, and I was like, I didn't know they did Mortal Kombat 1. And so I looked up
the first one. Yeah, it came out during the pandemic, I think.
Yeah, and then I realized I had actually seen that movie. That's how like memorable that Mortal Kombat was. Meanwhile, I was like, we saw this movie, and she was like, we did. And then
I remember.
Like, oh yeah,
because it went straight to Max, right? Like it didn't go into theaters. It just went straight to
right. Well, and then
streaming.
It had the guy from. Shogun. The guy from Shogun was in it.
Oh, right. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jonathan Pryce, if you watch Game of Thrones, he was the High Sparrow.
Okay.
Yeah. The guy who makes Cersei do the walk
around naked. Yeah.
But he's the main character, and he plays this this like office worker who at the beginning of the movie doesn't want to get. He's a good worker, and he's like up for promotion. He doesn't want to get promoted because he doesn't want to do more work, basically. And then something happens where he meets a woman. He keeps having these dreams, and there's this woman in his dreams. And then one day he like sees her, and he realizes that if he takes this promotion, he will have access to information where he can find out who this woman is. So he takes the promotion for that, and it just kind of goes from there. But one of the reasons I was interested to watch is Robert De Niro's in this movie. And this movie is, I would say it's a comedy. It's almost like you mentioned Monty Python. It's almost like a Monty Python type of movie. It's not as like silly as like Holy Grail or Life of Brian. But you can see that influence in the film. But it does have a little more. It does have some serious moments to it, I would say.
So I should point out. So I looked up Jonathan Pryce because I was trying to remember what he looked like. So the show I more associate him with than Game of Thrones is actually Taboo. Have you seen
Tom Hardy?
Tom Hardy. Yes. Did you ever see that?
I haven't seen it. I've heard of it.
Buddy, it is that show gets dark and creepy and weird.
Is it a Taboo?
Well, I think it's implied that he and his sister had been doing things. Yeah. So it is Game of Thrones. Yeah.
In
fact, it was quite taboo.
All right, moving on. So that's my 2 criterion. And then as I was looking over what I watched this week, I noticed I had a quartet of Seinfeld connections here for movies. So I watched a movie called The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3. So there's 2 versions of this movie. There's a 70s version, the original version. And then there's a more recent, I think it was in like the early 2000s, starring Denzel Washington and John Travolta. But the Taking a Pelham 1, 2, 3, I watched the original from the 70s, and I'm watching the movie, and I'm having a good time. You know, it's got like this really cool funk score. You know, like I saw where Perlman said the Netflix deal. Is he talking about?
Yeah, he's
Jeff
talking
Perlman?
about the
Okay.
the book that I was referencing.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. But yeah, so I'm watching this movie. It's got a really cool funk score. Walter Matthau's in the movie. Robert Shaw's in the movie, who people might know as Quint from Jaws. Like, you know, I'm having a really good time. I'm like, man, this movie's pretty good. And then they enter a room, they turn a corner, and sitting at the desk in all his glory is Jerry Stiller. And I'm like, oh, it's go time.
Well, did he have a lot of problems with you people?
So that's the thing. So he was a little subdued. Like, he wasn't frank. It wasn't like he didn't get to that level. But it was just I didn't know he was in the movie. And when he showed up,
he
I
was
was
on
like,
King of Queens too, wasn't he?
he was.
Where he's
Yes,
he's basically the same sort of character too, wasn't he?
He was Leah Remini's dad. He was Kevin James's father-in-law, but he was living with them. And yeah, that's the only reason that, like, if King of Queens is on, I would, and he showed up, I would watch a little bit. But yeah, no, so I highly recommend Taking a Pelham 1, 2, 3. It's a great movie, but the added benefit of Jerry Stiller shows up. And then I watched another movie called Chinatown. This is a rewatch for me. But in this movie is a gentleman named, this stars Jack Nicholson, Faye Dunaway. You know, it's pretty
I'm working
classic
on my
70s.
Jack Nicholson. You can't handle the truth.
That's not the Seinfeld reference. The Seinfeld reference is James Hong, who is the maitre d' in the Chinese restaurant. He's the one that yells Cartwright. Yeah. Cartwright?
Cartwright? I know I'm not Cartwright.
But Chinatown, if you haven't seen it, it's a wonderful. I mean, it's probably one of Jack Nicholson's.
I hang up phone.
She said curse word. Yeah.
I know I'm not Cartwright.
He's another one. He's another one. When I see him in, like, I was watching Everything Everywhere All at Once, and he shows up as the dad, as like the dad of the main character, and I was like, oh, it's Cartwright.
I know we just call him Cartwright because he's like, even though that's not his actual name.
No. And then I rewatched another rewatch for me is Little Miss Sunshine. Have you seen Little Miss Sunshine?
That's a good one. I haven't seen it in a long time. We watched
it's very good.
in college.
Yeah,
Steve Carell's in there too. Steve
Carell, Alan Arkin is the grandfather, and great performer. And then Toni Collette, who's in Hereditary, and there's another dinner scene in this movie. And I kept waiting for her to just like go off on somebody.
Well, one of my favorite lines of that is like at the very beginning when she, like, because Steve Carell is like attempted suicide, and she goes to get him,
right?
And she like hugs him, and she's like, and she says, "I'm so glad you're here. You're still here." And he's like, "That makes one of us." It's just like deadpan delivery, and it's like, it's just...
There's one of my favorites. I can't repeat the line because I don't want Andy. I don't want to lose the chicken
every night.
No. That one's good too.
Is that Little Miss Sunshine?
Yeah. No,
okay.
You're right. That one's good too. But I was thinking of when they're on the road and they stop at the gas station, and Arkin gives the money to Carell to go in and buy him some reading material. Let's say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe you should get some glamour.
Right.
Glamour.
Sure. But I totally forgot in that movie is Bryan Cranston in a cameo role. He plays, so Greg Kinnear in the movie is trying to get this like 9-step process off the ground.
Was he Tim Watley? And he was trying to maybe he went to get the magazines from Watley.
But I don't think that's what it was. No.
Okay.
But yeah, Greg Kinnear's trying to get this like 9-step program off the ground, and Cranston plays his like agent, I think, or someone who it seems like it was his agent. And so it was another thing where like I just watched the movie and it's like, oh, it's Bryan Cranston just here for. I also mentioned when they get pulled over at one point, the cop that pulls them over is Dean Norris, who is Hank Schrader from Breaking Bad.
Oh, yeah.
Walter White's brother-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
And then lastly, I watched the Marvel movie Thunderbolts, starring our dearly beloved Julia Louis-Dreyfus. This is a more recent Marvel film. It's pretty good.
Came out. I was going to say that came out. Like
well,
it just
became available. Yeah, it just became available on streaming on Disney Plus. So I figured, why not? It's another Seinfeld connection. We'll check it out.
Sure.
It's pretty good. It's better than the more recent Marvel movies, I would say. It's got Florence Pugh's in it. Wyatt Russell, David Harbour from Stranger Things, Sebastian Stan plays Bucky Barnes. It feels a little different than the typical Marvel movie, but in a good way. Like it's not yet. So I would if you have Disney Plus, you want to check it out, I would recommend that. it. No DoorDash incidents for me this week. No grievances to air this week for me.
Good to know.
So I think we'll move on here to some news and notes. If you want to hit us with a little transition.
Where's my news and notes?
So like you said, we're getting more into the football season. We had college football week 0 this past weekend. You and I went head to head on the Farmageddon over in Dublin. I got the check mark there. Iowa State plus 3.5.
You did. I did manage to make money on this game though, because I leveraged myself more on. So I had a small wager on Kansas State and a larger wager on the under, which looked like a lock at one point for a while. Actually, it looked like a lock, and then they started scoring points for some reason. But then,
for some reason. Oh, now you want to score points?
Yeah, okay. Now you want to score points. So I did hit that, and then later in the night I had the Stanford Hawaii under too.
You were the beneficiary of the touchdown that wasn't.
Correct. I was
first game of the year, and we have a controversy over
a bad beat.
A bad beat. Yeah. So what I did was I went ahead and threw this game in a teaser, a 3-leg teaser with with Kansas and with Hawaii. So I had
getting pretty fancy over there.
Yeah, so I had I did a 6-point teaser. So I had Hawaii plus 4, Kansas minus 7.5, and I had Kansas State plus 3. So that one ended up pushing.
Oh, okay, because it was a 3-point.
Because I had Kansas State in the teaser. I didn't. Yeah. So that one ended up pushing, but the Kansas over Fresno State and the Hawaii over Stanford, they both hit. So paid out at plus 107. So
a little money.
Little money. But yeah. So any other? Did you said you had some on Hawaii too?
So I took Stanford on the money line.
Oh,
because they were plus money. And then the under on that game, and so I think I came out minus like 20 cents. So
you got isn't that the game where the kicker was like a former waiter
He was
or something.
no, he was like Japanese and came to visit America.
Right.
And then like
right.
was it I think it was Japan.
Learned
He,
how
like,
to kick on YouTube.
From YouTube
Yeah.
because he saw a game on TV like when he'd come to visit, and then he was like,
Wow.
well, I could do that. So we got the next
Hey,
I don't know, Young Wei Koo or so
maybe he'll end up being a patron saint cowboy one day.
one day.
We can-
Although Young Wei Koo is
we'll-
not a patron saint cowboy.
All right, so what I thought we would do, college football related, we've got a big week one coming up. A lot of folks are saying this is probably one of the best week one college footballs in a long time.
Many people are saying that it's the best week one in college football history. That's when you phrase it like that, you have to do the hand signs.
Right. Of course.
Many people are saying
Many. I know there's a game that you're going to be vastly interested in. As we talked about with the YouTube TV Fox figuring that out. So you and I started I guess we'll talk about this now. You and I started a couple of groups on ESPN, a couple of pick'em groups, which we tweeted out the links last week. So, but if anybody wants to join us, we've got a pigskin win totals, which we'll go over those probably next week for the NFL. We have weekly pick'ems. We have both a spread and a confidence version.
and I've never done a confidence pool before. Have you?
I've only done it once, and it's something. I mean, there's a little bit of strategery involved there.
Right.
And then we just today started a college pick'em. So I don't think we've tweeted that link out yet, but
No. I think I just created that like while I was at work.
so
like trying to
so
close
we'll try to get all those links out. Maybe we'll pin it to our Twitter account so folks can
I
join us.
named my college pick'em entry too collegiate to quit.
You did. That was. I mean, you never miss. So I should say, you were talking about fantasy football earlier. I have a league that I joined with my former work colleagues, and we have our draft Friday.
The academy squad.
Yes, the academy squad, and we have our draft this Friday. And I named my team Shucky Ducky, but spelt SHOUGA. Yeah. But you, as you always do, you had a better name, which was Shuck Around and Find Out.
That's right.
We'll just anyone who wants to use that, it's free of charge.
Yeah, anybody that's a freebie. Just take it.
That's a freebie.
Yeah.
All right, I guess could we do like Shuck, Rattler, and
Shuck, Rattler, and Roll.
And
Shuck, Rattler, and Roll.
Too bad Nick Foles isn't on the team. Then we'd have Shuck, Rattler, and Foles.
Oh, see, there you go.
There you go.
Or Too bad Antrell and Samari aren't still around.
There you go. Samari Roll. There we go. Wait, see these ideas.
I know.
All right, so getting back to the college football pick'em, let's go through these games. These are the 10 games that ESPN has. And actually, I need to pull up my. Do we want to give our picks here?
Yeah, let's do it like we usually do because we usually do this live on the air, like when we're going through the season.
We'll do it live. So we're going to start with the big. Do you want to save the big game for last, or you want to do that one?
Well, let's go right off the top.
Right off the top. Okay, so the UT Longhorns, number 1 in the country, are going to the Big Horseshoe in Columbus, Ohio, against the number 3 Ohio State Buckeyes. Ohio State is laying 2.5. I, out of respect for you, am laying the 2.5 with Ohio State.
I will also be laying the 2.5 and attempting to apply the reverse jinx.
Fair enough. Interesting to see Arch Manning, his first start.
No, he started games before. Remember, because
because Ewers was injured, right?
Yeah, he started a couple of games.
I actually wanted to ask you that. So how many games did he start last year?
2. I'm like pretty sure it's 2.
So let's pretend He plays this entire season, and UT goes to the national championship.
Okay, I like this.
And he decides to declare for the NFL draft, then he will have 15 starts under his belt in college.
That-
15, 16
UT
somewhere.
ended up playing. UT played like 16 games last year and got to the semifinals. So it would be
Okay.
18, 19.
Less than 20.
Assuming he is healthy for the full season.
Right. But 20 or less, right?
Correct.
And we're just going to assume a quarterback that's made 20 or less starts in his collegiate career is going to be the number one prospect. Now, if his last name was not Manning, would that be a problem?
I mean, it depends. I think it all depends on how he plays, really. If you get a team to the national championship, I'm not sure that it really does matter how many starts you've had, right? Like,
obviously I have a potential interest in Arch Manning's draft placement coming.
Yeah. So the college football reference from Sports Reference doesn't list starts on here.
Okay.
So I may have to try to find it on ESPN.
That's fine. I was just curious. Like, I don't know. You know how it is. Like draft prognosticators, they make a big deal out of something when it helps their narrative, but
Right. If it's the other way around, then they tried to downplay it.
I did find it. Somebody brought up this the other. I heard somebody was like, it's very possible that the three worst teams in the NFL this year are the Giants, the Colts, and the Saints. So, like having those, the Giants maybe not, but like,
I was going to say the Browns. Like, where are the Browns in all this?
But the implication being like the three teams that a Manning has played for at some point, Colts, Giants, and Saints, potentially being in the running. Donnie, I know the Broncos are not going to be in the running for the first overall pick. I'm pretty sure about that.
So just based on his passing attempts, it looks like it is 2 starts because he started against Louisiana Monroe, and pretty rough game there. And then he started against Mississippi State.
Okay. Well, out of the frying pan into the fryer this week.
Yep.
For Arch. So we'll see how it goes. I'm definitely going to be seated and ready to watch now that YouTube TV and Fox have figured out that situation. Also, 11 o'clock Saturday, we've got Syracuse against number 24 Tennessee. Now, this game is actually in Atlanta. They're playing at Mercedes-Benz Stadium for this. The Volunteers are laying 12.5 points, and that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to lay the 12.5.
I'm laying the 12.5
with the Volunteers. Also in the state of Georgia on Saturday at 2:30, you got the Marshall Thundering Herd going between the hedges against the Georgia Bulldogs. Georgia is laying 38.5.
That is
that's a lot of points.
That's 5 touchdowns plus a field goal plus 1 more point.
Right. It's a lot of points. I'm taking the points here. I know it's probably.
I'm laying them and I don't feel good about it.
Yeah. I started to lay them and I was like, I'll just take the points. So we'll be head to head on that one. Also at 2:30 on Saturday, this is in Tallahassee at Doak Walker Stadium, I believe is the name of the stadium there. Alabama Crimson Tide, number 8 in the country, coming in to face the Florida State Seminoles. The Seminoles are a home dog. They're getting 12.5, and I am taking the 12.5.
I'm taking the
Florida
points.
State. Yeah, this isn't your grandma's Alabama, or this ain't your dad's Alabama team.
And I think, and their coach last year was under fire, Norvell, because they had their quarterback situation was such a disaster. And I think
Florida State, you mean?
Yeah. I think they're going to bounce back this year and be a little better.
I agree. Okay, 5 o'clock Saturday. We've got the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers.
Mm-hmm.
Chanticleers. Okay, that's what I thought. are taking on the Virginia Cavaliers. And the Cavaliers
Cavaliers.
and the Cavaliers are laying 12.5. I'm going to lay the 12.5 with Virginia.
We're going head to head. I'm going to take those Chanticleers.
The Chanticleer. They're in the Sun Belt, correct? Coastal Carolina?
Sure.
Okay, fair enough. Moving on. The marquee game in the evening on Saturday in Death Valley number 2.
The Battle of the Death Valleys.
The Battle of the Death Valleys. Maybe they should have just played in Death Valley, Arizona.
Yeah. Sure that wouldn't be too hot.
Yeah, sure. Why not? The LSU and then both Tigers. I guarantee you the Tigers will win this game.
The
LSU
Tigers who play their home games in Death Valley will win.
Who play exactly. There you go. The Tigers of LSU will take on the Tigers of Clemson. Number 9 LSU, number 4 Clemson. Clemson is laying 2.5. I'm going to lay the 2.5 with Clemson.
I will be cheering. I will be picking against your Louisiana brethren.
Yeah, that's fine. Brian Kelly's seat might get a little warm this season too.
Him and his family.
Oh Lord.
It's that and the Duval are like those are like cousins
close.
of each other.
It's
right?
close.
Yeah.
So the other interesting wrinkle in this quarterback draft coming up next year is the quarterback for LSU, Garrett Nussmeier, is the son of Saints offensive coordinator Doug Nussmeier. So something to keep an eye on, I guess, going into next season. Excuse me, a couple more here on Saturday. Late game out on the West Coast. The Utah Utes, the 2 Utes, Your Honor, are going into UCLA. UCLA is getting 3.5 points. I'm going to take 3.5 with the Bruins.
I'm going to take the 3.5.
Then out in Seattle, I believe. Is that where the University of Washington is?
It is.
Seattle?
When actually last time we visited there, we stayed where the place where we stayed was actually, or no, it wasn't the last time. When we went up there for my brother-in-law's wedding, we stayed at a place that was like we would drive past the University of Washington campus all the time.
Okay.
Oh,
well, Colorado.
I should point out that Doug Nussmeier, the Saints coach, also former Cowboy coach.
Of course, yeah. Also on the staff with the Saints is Scott Tolzien, former Cowboy. Was he a quarterback for the Cowboys, or he was just a coach for the Cowboys?
I don't think he actually played.
Okay. So visiting Seattle, as you once did this weekend, will be the Colorado State Rams against the Washington Huskies. These are laying 18.5. I'm going to take the 18.5 with Colorado State.
I'm going to lay those points, baby.
All right. And then two games on Sunday. This week, since there's no NFL yet. We've got the Virginia Tech Hokies going into South Carolina to play the Gamecocks, number 13 ranked Gamecocks. South Carolina laying 9.5. So I will lay the 9.5 for Spencer Rattler's alma mater.
I am also laying the 9.5. Scott Tolzien, not a player for the Cowboys, just a coaching assistant. No, and the quarterbacks coach. Quarterbacks coach, 2023 through 2024.
Fair enough. And then the final game here of the weekend. The final game of the weekend is on Labor Day, and that's North Carolina TCU, Bill Belichick's debut, which people have forgotten about for some reason. But
speaking of something making its debut, did you hear the news about that situation?
Maybe. Remind me.
There's another Belichick on the way.
Excuse me?
There's another Belichick on the way.
When did this happen?
That's what I heard today. I mean, I don't know if I got.
Oh my God.
Let me double check and make sure I didn't get Sintel real
quick. Are we breaking news here on Pleasant Voice?
So you talk about Catholics versus convicts.
Yeah, the old Catholics versus convicts game from the 90s here. Sunday night on ABC. Notre Dame Fighting Irish, number 6 in the country, they're going to go into Miami, who's number 10. Miami is getting a 1.5. I'm going to take the 1.5 with the Miami Hurricanes. Did we confirm about the possibility?
It looks like this was a fake tweet.
Okay. I mean, listen, De Niro and Pacino are still having kids. Why can't Belichick?
So who are you taking?
I'm taking the 1.5 with the Miami Hurricanes.
Oh, you're taking the convicts.
Yes.
I will be supporting our American Pope with and laying the 1.5 with the Irish.
Good luck, buddy. Good luck with that. Did you do the tiebreaker? How many points will be scored in the Ohio State Texas game?
I did not.
I just did 50. So
I was going to say 47. That's a like number I always go to when I put it for football scores on this.
Yeah, 50 is my number because that's like 27, 23. Yeah, you figure that'd probably be
51
right around there.
Price is Right rules.
There you go.
Closest with
There
that.
you go. All right, let's talk a little NFL news, and then we'll get to our divisional previews here. Hopefully, Donnie can stay with us in the chat because we're going to talk about his Broncos.
Beloved Broncos.
His beloved Broncos. Well, most of the time, I'm sure, beloved Broncos. So I'll start with the Saints real quick. They did name, obviously, Spencer Rattler as the starter. You were asking me before we turned the mics on my feelings, and I will just kind of reiterate what I told you, which is I feel like it's the right move. I think, Shuck, the reason I kind of talked about the starts with Arch Manning, like everybody makes a big deal about Shuck being in college for 7 years or however long it was.
Yeah, he's like 40 years old right now. Should be applying to Medicare any day.
That notwithstanding, the guy only started 27 games or 28 games in college, even if he was in, which would be the equivalent of like the way the seasons are now. If you had a guy come out after 2 seasons as a starter, and he started 28 games, people would kind of say, I don't know if he's ready. Like Jackson Dart. I don't even know how many games. Like I think Jackson Dart started more than 28 games at Ole Miss. I could be wrong. I don't know, but so I'm fine with this. I also texted you this weekend when this news came out. I will be very surprised, borderline shocked, if Spencer Rattler starts all 17 games this season. Mm-hmm. I do think they're going to have to put Shuck in there at some point to see what they have. Unless Rattler's just, exceeding really all expectations. Yeah, if he's really good, then yeah.
Look, when you say exceeding all expectations, what is expectations?
I think expectations. So if I had to put an over/under on when we see Shuck, I think it's going to be.
When's the bye week?
That's what I was going to say. The bye week, I want to say, is week 10 or week 11. So I would say, and the game after the bye week is at home. It's against Atlanta. So I would say Shuck's probably the starter by that game.
Unless
you start like 10-0 with Rattler or something crazy, which
if they do that, then that blows my 0-5 in the first 5 weeks bet.
I don't know.
Y'all don't play the Cowboys in the first 5 weeks, otherwise that would already be. I'd be counting on that bet to lose already.
Yeah, we could at least win that game, right? Also, so Rattler, Shuck, they did waive Jake Haener, but then he passed waivers or he cleared waivers, whatever the term is. So he is back on the practice squad. They did sign him to the practice squad. They also waived Isaiah Foskey. So 2 of the 2023 draft class got cut, and it's 2025. So yeah, that's fine.
If it makes you feel any better, I think the Cowboys 2023 draft class is also like not in a good spot right now.
Well, the Saints did trade for a member of the Dallas Cowboys 2023 draft class. Is it Asim?
Awesome. Yeah, because he's an awesome player.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, awesome Richards. To get us a little tackle depth. We also signed. Speaking of Donnie, we did sign somebody from the Broncos off of waivers, and I cannot remember his name now. He's an offensive lineman.
Y'all are needing offensive lineman depth pretty.
We really are. Landon Young, who has been kind of our go-to swing tackle, versatile line, kind of step in when you need it. He's having surgery on his ankle, I believe. So he might be out. I think he's out for the whole season. And then Will Clapp's already out for the season. One thing I will say, one of our undrafted free agents that I mentioned on the show last week or the week before, Turicelli Simpkins, who came in for Clapp when he got hurt in the Charger game. He did make the roster, and I honestly think he might see some playing time because he's pretty good. Every time you watch him, he gets after it, which is what you want to see from a guard. And obviously with Penning, they didn't put Penning on IR, so he can play. He could be ready for week one.
That just means he doesn't have to miss, because if you're on IR, you have to miss the first 4 weeks. So that means he can come out before then. That's the situation with Trayvon Diggs right now, because he made the active roster.
Right. But if you do that, so that Trayvon Diggs roster spot doesn't count against the.
No, he he is taking up an active roster spot. If you're on the IR, designated to return, you're not.
Got it.
But you can only do that with 2 guys, and then the other guys have to you have to keep them on the initial roster, because that's what happened to Phil Maffa. Is they put Phil Maffa on the initial 53, and then then later they moved him over to IR, designated to return. So he'll miss which makes sense because he kind of wasn't. I don't think he was ready yet, because he's a 7th round pick out of Clemson, and so they're just kind of hey, let's stash you over here for a little while. We still want you around. We still think you're a good long-term value, but we don't want to have to subject you to waivers because we think there's enough there that someone might claim you.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. And then one other waiver claim for the Saints I wanted to mention was Trey Palmer from the Bucs.
Wide receiver?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who I want to say I was pretty excited. I was I thought he was pretty good. Because last year he got to play because Godwin was injured.
Well, they also have their wide receiver room right now is pretty crowded, I think. And that's he was just a numbers game.
Well, because Godwin is active. Godwin's going to be ready for week 1. They have Abuka. They have Mike Evans, obviously.
Is he going to be ready for week 1, or is he another
he might be
not on IR, but it may be a couple. Yeah. It may not be week 1, but before week 4, or before week 5.
Designated to return type thing. Yeah. But yeah. So from a Saints perspective, I did listen to Brandon Staley. He had I think it was yesterday. They had all 3 coordinators do kind of a press conference, talk to meet with the media. Nothing too, because this was the day that they were cutting everybody, so Staley really couldn't be yeah, we're but he sounded competent, I guess. He sounded it's he knows what he's doing. The defense, I will say, the first team defense. So the last preseason game, again, it's funny that Donnie's in chat if he's still there, but last preseason game was against the Broncos, and the first team defense for the Saints actually played pretty well, relatively speaking. So that's encouraging, I would say. Maybe we have a situation where our defense is decent enough to kind of keep us hanging around.
That's been kind of your modus operandi for the last few years, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess. But we'll see. I mean, I still think we're going to be the worst team in the NFC record-wise. that's just the way I feel. But we'll see. Maybe, like I said, maybe Rattler can. I mean, the one thing I will say, Rattler has an opportunity now. Like he's the starter. He's got a week and a half, I guess, to get ready for Arizona. And then, unless he just really makes a mess of himself in game one, even then, like if it goes bad in game one, I don't think they're going to bench him right away. I think they're really going to take their time. One of the key words Kellen Moore mentioned in his press conference when he announced the starter was development. He's really interested in developing these young quarterbacks. So I like to hear that. And again, I feel better about Kellen Moore as my head coach because I'm glad he wasn't, for lack of a better word, bullied into starting. Because, new head coach, you spend the 40th overall pick on a guy. Everybody thinks, well, yeah, he's going to be the starter. Like, he has to be the starter. But they've sensed he still needs a little seasoning, a little development. That's where we are. So how about the Cowboys? What's up what's up with them?
I talked about Phil Maffa, who is an IR stash. We also have a couple of number changes. One, Ezraku, they announced that he will change his number, but they haven't given the number yet. So he will not be wearing Terrence Newman's 41.
Will it be 11?
No, because we're trading him we're trading Micah to the Green Bay Packers.
Micah was at the Dallas airport today. Brandon.
Some idiot. So that's another story that we will get to later. Alfred Blue is also changing his number back to 23, which is what he wore at Texas. Trayvon Diggs made the active roster. We talked about that. So it looks like his recovery is actually, I think they were originally like the hope was that he would be back by like Thanksgiving, like with Overshone, but like his recoveries actually ended up happening a lot faster. So they don't know if he'll be, I think right now they're working on getting him in football shape, and the hope he should be ready by Trayvon Diggs.
Trayvon, okay.
Yeah. And so I don't know if he'll be ready for week one, but you have like 10 days between week one and week two because they play Thursday. And so like at the very latest, I think Guyton is also like working to get back by week two at the latest. So it seems like even if they're without a couple of guys early, they'll be able to have them back by week two.
So if you can somehow sneak a win that opening night against Philly, you're going to feel pretty good going into week two because you got, to your point, you got that extra rest. Some of these guys might be coming back.
If we win in Philly in week one, I'm just going to go ahead and declare a Super Bowl champions right there, buddy.
All right, buddy.
No, I won't. Yeah, I'll be getting very far ahead of myself if that happens.
I'm gonna have to calm you down on the next show.
Oh yeah,
easy, big fella.
I'm going to be on a rocket ship to the moon at that point. Two of the big names, the guys who like played themselves onto the roster in preseason, James Houston, who's a defensive end who just kept making splash plays, and then the other one was Perion Winfrey. So Perion Winfrey, like the Cowboys have a noted lack of depth at defensive tackle, and so that's he's been one of the bright spots in training camp, and he was playing well. He played well in week. Do we still call it week 4 of the preseason, even though it's game 3? The last game of the preseason, he looked really good. He was still flashing. And so everyone was like, we think this guy played himself onto the roster. And the initial report was that he had been cut. And so like, they're like, oh, are they trying to stick him?
So I was confused because I saw your tweet. And then when I look at the show notes, I'm like, wait a minute.
So there were about 30 minutes when basically everybody that I follow on Twitter was like panicking because they thought he had been cut. They're like, we're going to lose this guy. And then it came out that apparently, I don't know if he like somebody misunderstood how something was phrased. And he like, I guess he like thought he had been cut. And then no. You've actually made the team.
I was telling you to cut my sandwich.
Yeah. So so he made the team, so that we're pretty excited about that. The guys that had been cut, Will Greer got cut but made it back to the practice squad. Deuce Vaughn was cut,
Yeah.
which
Is he back on the practice squad or
no, he's not, and I'm actually not that
Hmm.
surprised he didn't. He just
Man.
wasn't making play. He wasn't showing
Yeah.
up enough. I know you wanted him
Man,
to be the next Darren Sproles, but
Well, did your boy Blue kind of make Deuce dispensable, or he just wasn't?
I think Deuce had made himself expendable just because like he's been there for 3 years and he's never really been able to like produce.
Gee, he's been in the league that long. Jeez.
Yeah, the Deuce couldn't produce.
No.
Is he?
He did not. He did not put the Deuce in produce. Yeah.
No, he did not. And so now they deduced. They have deduced. Israel Mukwamu was also another casualty, and he was also, I think he was kind of the one that I was kind of surprised didn't make the practice squad, and I wonder if he's like maybe just like he wasn't drafted by this regime, and maybe he thinks like, well, you know, I've done what I can here, maybe it's time for me to kind of like get a new start and try to, you know, maybe like a change of scenery. He'll get a little more playing. He's trying to find some more playing time, which like I always thought he was a good guy, good player, seemed like a good guy, and always like someone who would be a good like he's like a big physical guy. He also had some versatility of playing like safety as well. You could kind of move him back because I think he was a safety in college. So I'm a little disappointed that he's moving on and that he didn't make it to the practice squad, but I'm hoping I'm kind of hoping he like latches on somewhere else, and as long as it's not in the NFC East.
Right.
The Cowboys also claimed 2 players off of waivers. One, I'm going to butcher this, but it's Traqueze Bridges from the Chargers, and Ready Stewart, which I think means prepare for takeoff.
Ready, steady.
Ready, steady, go. So 2 cornerbacks. So the moves that they made, they released Andrew Booth to make room for these guys. I know.
Oh no.
They finally caught him. They finally tracked down Kennedy's killer.
Lincoln, not Kennedy.
Lincoln, my bad. That's
now that
Lee Harvey Oswald.
If you had a cornerback room of Oswald and Booth, that'd be something.
We would be killing it. We'd have some cold-blooded assassins in there. Zion Childress was the other cut there, who also was like a guy that he has to go through waivers, but they might try to sneak him onto the practice squad, I think. Jalen Brooks, wide receiver, so there was kind of a competition for that 5th wide receiver spot between him and Ryan Flournoy, and Flournoy won out. And I think part of that is the fact that he's a little younger and also does some special team stuff. So there's like more upside and he does a little more. And so in that point in the roster, you're kind of looking for guys who will play special teams. Brooks didn't do that. So Flournoy, but Brooks did make it onto the practice squad. Elijah Clark, who was like tackling everything in the last preseason game, who I was really impressed with. He was wearing number 38, the number of Jeff Heath, I believe. He made it to the practice squad. Extra running back Malik Davis, Will Greer, and then Trayshawn Holden, who was wearing number 7, which made me think that Trayvon Diggs was changing his jersey number again. But he also ended up making it to the practice squad. And then, as you mentioned, Micah Parsons, seen in the Dallas airport today, not going to Wisconsin or to Green Bay, but going to get a second opinion on his injured back. And so we're starting to wonder if he's trying to actually like miss games by claiming an injury, because the Cowboys MRI said that there is no injury, basically. I'm starting to think I think Jerry has obviously done some stupid stuff in this negotiating situation, But I'm starting to get bad vibes about Micah's agent. And he also has like a history of like pushing this to the max and then having guys just walk away from this, like basically burning bridges. Like he's done this before. And I'm starting to like think that like because Micah wants to be a Cowboy just because like he said that when he came out. And then he also like talked about like, he wants the marketing opportunities that come with like being a Cowboy. Like, he loves that stuff. Like he is, like for better or for worse, he's kind of a like attention guy.
Yeah, I mean he's got the podcast. He's got he's got all these things that he does. I mean,
so like he wants to be here, and I'm starting to wonder if he doesn't need to just like call up his agent and tell him to like shove it and like get a deal done if he wants this to happen like anytime soon, because like it seems like he's probably, I think Mike is starting to get a little, fans are starting to lose a little bit of patience on his side too. I think fans are mostly mad at Jerry, or they've been mostly mad at Jerry for the extent of this, but I think that public opinion is starting to like shift the other way, and like the agent in this situation is like, I'm not a fan of this guy right now.
Yeah, so my concern, if I were a Cowboys fan, as you are, would be, obviously you want Micah back, but like if he hasn't been practicing, I mean, hopefully he's staying in shape, because like
they said he's still working. He's still working out.
Okay.
Like he's not going through like practices and walkthroughs and stuff, but he's still like because he's still in the building. Like I think he's still doing training stuff, and there'll probably be some like ramp up, and he may be on a snap count if he like does make it back for week 1. But like I think he is still. He's not sitting. I know he was laying on the training table, but he hasn't just been sitting on the couch.
Right. Because then I think about like if and when he does come back, he's not just going to get thrown right into it.
Right.
Anything else on the Cowboys?
No, I think I covered everything that I needed to.
All right, a couple other things around the NFL. So Joe Mixon, running back for the Houston Texans, and Tyjae Spears, running back for the Tennessee Titans. So 2 AFC South running backs. They're going to start the season on IR, so they will miss the first four games for their respective teams. Adam Thielen got traded back to Minnesota from Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
So, we didn't really talk about that a lot, or maybe I didn't mention that with the Vikings. Part of my cause for concern with the Vikings is not so much McCarthy, although that is a part of it, but it's more like it's McCarthy and who is he throwing to outside of Justin Jefferson? Because Jordan Addison suspended for 3 games. I think one of their other receivers is injured.
They got TJ Hawkinson.
They do have TJ Hawkinson. Now they have Adam Thielen, obviously, who was there previously. So that'll help. But just something to keep an eye on in Minnesota. The Eagles released Kenyon Green, former first-round pick of the Texans that they got in the trade. We talked about him. I think, did we talk about him last week, or maybe but
which one?
Kenyon Green, the guard from A&M that the Texans drafted and then traded to
I couldn't remember if we talked about it, or I think we texted about it, but I think it.
You know what it was? When we were talking about the Texans last week, we mentioned C.J. Gardner-Johnson.
And the John Mechie trade was another thing. Yeah.
And that was the other thing. So anyway, the Eagles released Kenyon Green. I will mention the Eagles did pick up on the waiver wire Willie Lampkin from the Rams. And that dude, I think he's going to be something. Like
You don't think he's going to be another Kenyon Green situation where
no, I don't
Eagles
think so.
Couldn't save him?
No, I don't think so. He didn't. He did get. I think he went undrafted because of his height. He's kind of short for a guard, but if you watch him play, he's real deal. And I think with the Eagles, with Stoutland, who's one of the better offensive line coaches in the NFL, maybe the best one. I think they're they'll get some value out of that. Former Bronco legend Tim Patrick got traded to the Jacksonville Jaguars from the Lions, so another target there for Trevor Lawrence. And then finally, our guy Tommy DeVito, got waived by the Giants, but then picked up off waivers by the New England Patriots. So he's going to back up the Drake potentially.
I should also point out that this Tim Patrick trade to the Jaguars makes room for a young wide receiver in Detroit, Mr. The Worm himself,
Tesla.
Yeah. So I drafted in the 17th round of a fantasy football draft this year. So come on, baby.
Nice.
You got some upside there.
You invested some stock in Tesla.
Yeah, I do.
Like it's 2007 or whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
Whenever that company got off the ground.
So I will note that apparently David Mulligetta, who is Parsons' agent, was also Earl Thomas's agent when talks fell apart in Seattle, and Earl eventually got traded to Baltimore.
Well, my coworker who's a Packers fan is on the edge of his seat right now. I can tell you that.
Part of my like agents, their job is supposed to be to like do the best for their players, but it seems like some of the agents these days, like best is just like get the most money regardless of how it works out. It seems like him and who's the Scott Boras is another one.
Yeah.
Like in baseball I'm not concerned with my player being in the best situation that he wants. My concern is getting the maximum contract for my player. It seems like there's a little bit of a disconnect there.
I will say just one other quick note. Shedeur Sanders made the Browns roster. Kenny Pickett got traded to the Raiders. So Kenny Pickett and Sam Howell this week became the first two players to be traded, I think, 3 or more times in their first 4 seasons or something like that.
Pretty impressive.
Pickett did it first, and then Sam Howell did it the next day. But Shedeur's brother, Shiloh Sanders, got in a fight, got waived by the Buccaneers, and has not been picked up off of waivers.
So my favorite part of that was somebody was acting outraged that he got thrown out of the game for throwing a punch right in front of an official. What
Yeah, what was he supposed to do?
Yeah, why wouldn't that get you thrown out of a game?
Yeah. All right, buddy. Any other NFL news and notes? Are you ready to get to more like Bilo Sanders?
Right.
Any other news and notes you want to get to, or are we ready to?
Now let's get out. Let's stroll on over and get to the AFC West.
Very good. All right. So again, this is our last 2 divisions here. We're going bottom to top as they finished in 2024. So we'll start with the AFC West and finishing in last place. Yeah. So what I was going to say, just to kind of start this off, I think of all 8 teams we're going to talk about tonight, I think all 8 of these teams have playoff chances. I won't say they're obviously I'm not going to say all 8 are going to make the playoffs, but
you cutting it a little close with one specific team in the.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about, but we'll get to them in a minute. Let's start in the AFC. Start with the AFC West. The Las Vegas Raiders finished 4-13 last year. Their over/under this season is 6.5. So in the offseason, they hired Pete Carroll as a new head coach. Chip Kelly, their new offensive coordinator, coming back to the NFL after some time at Ohio State. They also signed Max Crosby. That was a re-signing, big deal there. They did trade Geno Smith they traded for Geno Smith. Excuse me.
Yes.
From a team that we'll talk about later. And then they also signed safety Jeremy Chin. Departures for the Raiders, they lost Trevon Mooring at safety. They also lost cornerback Nate Hobbs and linebacker Robert Spillane. Pretty good draft for the Raiders, I'd say. Got Ashton Genty, who a lot of folks think could be Offensive Rookie of the Year. Maybe the odds-on favorite for that award. Then they also drafted Jack Betch. Good story. Roberts, go ahead.
I was going to say I drafted Ashton Genty in my fantasy team.
How high?
Second round. So about pick 15, I think.
I was watching the Ringer fantasy football. They were doing a mock draft, and somebody got Bowers and Genty on their fantasy team. Did you do it?
I did too. Yeah, I sent that to you. You said Oh,
maybe that's what I was. Maybe I was thinking of you.
Bowers and Genty. You said that's nasty work right there.
That's nasty. That's good work. Also in the draft, I just mentioned they did draft Iowa State corner Darian Porter, who had
no relation to Cole Porter
or Tracy Porter. I don't think he's relation. For the AFC West, their non-division schedule. So one advantage I would say the AFC West has, no offense to my colleague, is they get to play the AFC. They get to play the NFC East, but they also get to play the AFC South. The Raiders, by virtue,
I don't know if playing the NFC East is necessarily like one of the
easier.
It's like I
would I take it back.
Yeah. On the AFC South side though, that's a perk.
Yeah. The Raiders, by virtue of finishing in last place last year, their 3 extra games are Cleveland, the Browns, the Patriots, and the Chicago Bears.
The Bears.
All right, so I'll start with this. As I was starting my process of kind of researching all the teams and looking at it, the Raiders were a team that I thought every time I go back to them, I'm like, man, Raiders should be pretty good this year. Like, they have an adult at head coach. They have, you know what I mean? They have like,
they moved on. well, the funny thing is that they've gone for like their coaching, like
right, yeah, their
transition here has gone from John Gruden, who hadn't coached in forever, giving him $1 bajillion, having to move on from him when the emails came out.
Right.
Then you go to Josh McDaniels, who, like you said, is who is the offensive version of your boy
Dennis Allen.
And then they went to Antonio Pierce because that's the interim.
Well, here's what happened.
The permanent tag is like never.
Here's what happened. John Gruden gets fired. They hire Rich Bisciotti.
Yeah.
They make him the interim coach.
Rich Bisaccia.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Bisaccia, excuse me.
Former Cowboy coaching great.
Right. So Rich Bisaccia takes them to the playoffs. They have that game against Cincinnati that they almost win. Like they have the ball with a chance to win. And then they don't hire Bisaccia. They hire Josh McDaniels. So then when they fire McDaniels and they have Pierce as the interim coach, they figured they learned from their mistake, quote unquote, and they make Pierce the head coach. And now Tom Brady comes in and is like, yeah, we're cleaning house, and Pete Carroll's in.
It's not like Antonio Pierce was like
doing
anything to cement himself in the job there either.
I'm not saying that he should have kept his job. I'm just trying to give a little
context,
context to this. I do wonder though with Pete Carroll. Obviously, Pete Carroll is not a spring chicken. He's. I'm wondering if maybe there's a plan for like Chip Kelly to maybe take over at some point. Like if they're because remember Chip Kelly was a head coach in the NFL. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, that's exactly what I said. Yes. Sorry, Pete. But hey, listen, Pete Carroll looks a lot better than I do. So, man,
That's
more
it's.
power to him.
Have you considered chewing a lot of gum really hard?
I have not, no. Or wrestling with. Have you seen him like trying to wrestle the players when they stretch?
Oh yeah.
He tries to like, yeah.
He's also really into 9/11 theories. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
No, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
The jet fuel does not melt steel beams is apparently very popular in the Pete Carroll.
He's got a little Marion Cotillard energy going there. All right, but anyway, so I mean, so I just keep coming back to like this team should be pretty good. Like Geno's, how do you feel? Is Geno's an upgrade from what they had last year at quarterback?
Obviously. Oh yeah, well I mean that's setting the bar pretty low there, Raylan.
Setting it low, but I think Genty obviously I think they have two of the better possible. They have a potential offensive rookie of the year in Genty. They have a potential offensive player of the year, period, in Bowers.
You're forgetting the other weapons that they've added within the past 24 hours. We talked about Adam Thielen to the Vikings.
Oh, that's true.
Another player
reunion,
Mr. Amari Cooper hanging with Mr. Cooper.
Right. That's right. Who could forget?
Yeah, how could we have forgotten?
And then I think this team's on paper looks pretty good. Now they start the season. They have to go across country and play the Patriots week 1, which
So this team feels like it's upgraded to me, and it's a competent team with upside. Probably a limited ceiling. Like I like Geno, but like he'll win you some games, but I think the ceiling is a little limited. Do you know anything about like I have no expertise on this, but like the Raiders offensive line, any idea on how good it is at all?
I mean, I think it can be competent.
Okay.
I don't think it's
meaty part of the curve situation. Is that what we're?
Yeah, I think it's a meaty part of the curve situation. I do know they had, or I feel like they had a left tackle. Was it Colton Miller, or I thought they had like a left tackle that was pretty good. I'm looking it up here. Roster depth chart.
I'm pulling up.
So they're I mean, so they one thing, Colton Miller is their left tackle. Dylan Parham, isn't he a Memphis guy? Dylan Parham?
That's a good question. Whoa.
He's at guard. So they had Jackson Powers Johnson from Oregon as their starting center last year. They're now moving him to guard in lieu of Jordan Meredith from Western Kentucky to be their starting center, and their right guard is DJ Glaze, which DJ Glaze sounds like the MC at the Dunkin' Donuts party.
Who is the Dylan Parham? Hold on, I'm trying to look him up. So PFF does have them in the meaty part of the curve. At like I think they have him ranked 18th.
Okay.
Oh, you're right. He was a Memphis Tiger.
But yeah, I mean, I think, and then obviously they do have the Jacoby Myers situation going on right now where he wants to be traded. They're not acquiescing at this point. So, but I definitely think this team, I would be really shocked if they're 4-13 again. I'll say that.
Oh yeah.
We'll go over our wins and losses here in a little bit, but I think it all comes down to Geno. Like, can Geno recreate that magic that he had in Seattle? What was that? 2 years ago? Three years ago?
2 years ago, I think. And I think
Yeah.
I think having Chip Kelly there is going to help that. Like, his offensive scheme will be good, and I think that'll also help. Like, I think they want to run the ball. I did see like Ashton Genty's first preseason game. He had 3 carries for like 1 yard or something. But then like you see the clips, and it was like there was no way anybody was getting any yardage on those. Like, it was like guys were in the backfield immediately on him.
Yeah.
So I think that like I said, I think there's some upside here and that they've got potential.
I do want to highlight their last 6 games real quick. So they go at the Chargers week 13 on a late Sunday afternoon. Then they host the Broncos the next week. Then they go to Philadelphia and to Houston back to back. And then they end 2 home games, Giants and Chiefs, which is that's tough. I think that's going to end up being kind of what makes or breaks their season. That they start out the back, their schedule out the box is not too bad. I mean, they have the trip to New England that I mentioned. They host the Chargers. They go to Washington. So they got 2 East Coast trips out of the first 3 weeks. And then they go, by the way, that week 2 game, they host the Chargers, a Monday night game. So that trip to Washington is on a short week too. So they have so that makes it. Then they host the Bears. They go to Indianapolis, and then they host the Titans. So
that's a winnable game.
It's a winnable game. So they probably need to make a little bit of hay in those first 6 weeks, I would say.
So where do you have the? Do you want to do your rankings?
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, let me.
And
give me a second
as you pull those up, I will update you on the Rangers Angels game has gone final. Would you like to guess how many runs the Rangers scored in this game?
15.
Too low.
20.
20. 20-3. I would like to also point out that the Rangers, like half of their good players are like now on IR for the rest of the year. So like the Angels really suck, which really, really breaks my heart, Paul.
I know it does. All right. So for the Raiders, I've got team ranking. I've got them 19th.
Okay.
Quarterback ranking for Geno, I got him 15th. And coach ranking for Pete Carroll, I have him 10th.
Okay. Solid.
Yeah. So, yeah, the meaty part of the curve. You want to vamp for a second while I get their wager, my wager for them?
Yeah, I don't think I bet anything on them this year. I was a little disappointed. So, like, they let Trayvon Marrig walk, and he ended up signing with the Panthers. I was kind of hoping Dallas would have signed him, but
yeah,
alas.
So my wager for the Raiders was, again, these are all placed on rebet. I wager that they will split with the Chiefs. So they'll win the split with the Chiefs. I got that at plus 250.
So not bad.
All right. Do we want to move on? Anything else on the Raiders before we move on?
Yeah, we need to get Donnie back in here. Tell him it's time to.
It's go time.
It's go time. It's Broncos time, baby.
We're going to talk about the Denver Broncos.
So the Denver Broncos went 10-7 in 2024. They lost in the AFC wildcard game to the Bills, in spite of the fact that they scored first on their opening drive, I believe.
Yeah, very impressive opening drive, if I remember in that.
Yeah, because I remember people were talking about, hey, Buffalo needs to watch out. And then they scored that drive, and then I think Buffalo went on to kind of control the game after that.
Yeah.
Their over-under is at 9.5 this year. Key signings, they added safety Talanoa Hufanga, linebacker Dre Greenlaw from the 49ers, tight end Evan Ingram from the Jaguars.
Jags. Yep.
Yeah. They lost linebacker Cody Barton and quarterback Zach Wilson and running back Javonte Williams, who signed with the Cowboys. In the draft, they added Jade Barron out of UT. I remember watching the draft and thinking that everybody got a Longhorn except for me in that first round watch along that we did. They also drafted R.J. Harvey and Pat Bryant. We should also add in that Audric Estime had been cut.
Yeah,
that was
and he is as of this recording, he has not been picked up, I don't think.
I guess we overestimated him.
I was kind of hoping the Saints would estimate him, but that's another story for another day.
So how do we feel about it? Look, Bo Nix was one of the situations where he started out pretty rough, and then came on as the season went along. How do we feel about him going into year two?
Yeah, I think speaking as a fan of the Saints and a fan of Sean Payton, I think Sean Payton did a lot for Bo Nix, last year. And all I keep hearing coming out of Broncos camp is how much Payton loves Bo Nix coming into this season. And Bo Nix is kind of taking charge of the offense. And I think one of the stories I heard, I can't remember who was relaying it, but it might have been Diana Rossini, said when she talked to Nix this offseason, he was like, yeah, last offseason I was just basically kind of making it up. Like I didn't understand what I was really doing. I was like, I could call a play, but I didn't understand the why, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm starting to understand the why. Like, why are we running this play?
The Y or the X or the Z, like the different.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, that too. Yeah. I think Nix is probably. I don't see any reason why he would regress this year. Definitely think he's due for a good season. This defense is probably going to be the best defense in the NFL, or at least I did not say that. Do not put that. Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Donnie, listen, Donnie, it wasn't me. I didn't say it because I don't want that just to happen. And then Donnie,
yeah, if you say that, he's going to shatter his tibia in the first week of the season.
Oh my God. Oh man. But no, I think this defense is probably going to be one of the best defenses that Peyton's ever had as a coach. I mean, definitely better than some of those Saints defenses that he had back in the day.
Setting the bar pretty low there, Raylan.
Yeah. So the one question I have on offense for them is the running backs, is the running game.
Well, he really liked. Didn't Sean Payton was a big fan of R.J. Harvey, and that was kind of the story. Is but then Sean Payton is also the type who's going to bury the rookie on his depth chart to start and make him earn it. So he may eventually be the starter, but he's going to make it so that basically he has to earn it first.
Yeah.
Who is
I'm
there
just looking at the depth.
Yeah, I was going to say, who's there?
J.K. Dobbins.
Oh, God.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. To me, the key for them is if they can get a running game of any sort, that'll be key for them. Offensive line should be good. I mean, they have Cortland Sutton. Mm-hmm. Yeah, still cashing checks. They have Cortland Sutton. I feel like now, again, I just watched the Broncos play the Saints in the last preseason game. Feels like Nix and Sutton have kind of a chemistry.
He had 1,100 yards receiving last year. Like he had, it's not like he had a bad season. Like even given the slow start that Knicks got off to, like Courtland Sutton ended up with a respectable overall output in terms of like receiving yards. He had 1,081 yards.
The other name I'll mention that I've heard good things about coming out of Broncos camp is Troy Franklin, who has a rapport with Knicks because they both were at Oregon.
Hey, it's Franklin. Do you know what that? Do you remember Franklin, the turtle?
It sounds familiar, but
so it was a book series that was also a cartoon on like Nick Jr. Do you remember Nick Jr.?
Okay. Yeah, I do remember Nick Jr.
Yeah, so he was a turtle, and it was like it was in the same vein as sort of like the Little Bear show.
Okay.
So the fantasy football podcast that I listen to, anytime they talk about Troy Franklin, they'll play the like little clip of the theme song, and so this is that's unseeable. That's useless. Yeah, you can't see anything on that. I tried. Just look up Franklin the turtle, and you'll find what he looks like.
I'll make a note of it.
This is very important stuff, right?
For the Broncos, we should mention for their schedule, third place finish last year, so they get the AFC South, the NFC East, but they also get the Bengals, the Jets, and the Packers, which
that's a pretty. I mean, they get the Jets, so that's a plus.
They get the Jets, that's a plus. If you remember, the Bengals and Broncos last year had a pretty important game for the Bengals. It ended up not being important because the Chiefs didn't play anybody in Week 18, so the Broncos won. But this year, they have I'm really looking forward to our discussion next week about these Week 1 games because I think this Broncos-Titans game in Week 1 is sneaky interesting just because you've got the Cam Ward thing on the Tennessee side. Do the Broncos maybe have I will say this. There were years with Sean Payton with the Saints where we had high expectations coming into the season, and then Week 1 they just come out flat. I don't know if that's going to happen with Denver, but it's just something I keep my eye on.
I think my bet on that game would be on the under, just in terms of the point total, because that's two really good decent defenses.
Two really good defenses.
Yeah, who's gonna? Nobody's scoring.
But the Broncos, start off. They're home at Tennessee. They go to Indianapolis, go to the Chargers, home Cincinnati on a Monday night, and then they go to Philly, and then the Jets back to back. Host the Giants and then host the Cowboys and then come to our neck of the woods to play the Texans first week in November. So we'll probably know a good bit about this team through their first 7 games. Looks like they do have a late bye. They don't have a bye till week 12. So
would you like to know what the over-under is on Titans Broncos?
Is it in the 40s?
Yes.
Like 42, 41 and a half, somewhere.
41 and a half.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like you said, the quarterback for Tennessee, like it's probably the best defense in the NFL. Bo Nix.
I'm going to go ahead and really get my money down on the under here. As we
pound the under. Just pound
I've been making a lot of bets on show lately, I've realized.
Where's New? Do we have Newman queued up?
Oh yeah, hold on. Let me pull him up over here. Oh, where'd he go?
Let me get this.
Oh no. Don't tell me. You're gambling again, aren't you?
That's right, Newman. But we're still not gambling on the Little League World Series yet. So
no, we still haven't crossed that line.
Haven't crossed that threshold. For the Broncos, for their team ranking, I have them 7th.
Okay.
Quarterback ranking, I have 18th. And then the coach ranking, this is probably a bias, but I have Sean Payton 4th.
Of course you do. Just remember that we found him first.
That's true. That is true.
Where is this?
So for the Broncos, this is a pretty easy wager to find for them. Division winner, I got it at plus 300. A lot of talk about the Broncos being the team to kind of end the reign of Kansas City. We'll talk. We'll talk here in a minute.
I feel like, I guess there's another team that could challenge that, but they have a particular reputation that might prevent them from being seen as the team to end that reign.
Donnie, I believe, messaged me at one point. Well, I'll talk about that here in a minute when we talk about the team. But anything else on the Broncos?
No, I think that's it.
This next team that we were just alluding to here, and that is the Los Angeles Chargers. 11-6 last year, lost in the AFC wildcard to the Houston Texans. Just kind of fell apart in that playoff game.
Yeah, that offensive line kind of couldn't keep Herbert protected very well from that kind of. Speaking of which, they.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that in a minute. So the over/under for the Chargers this year 9.5. They did re-sign Khalil Mack. Speaking of the offensive line, they did sign Mekhi Becton, who had a career resurgence last year with the Eagles. And they also signed Najee Harris, who it looks like he's on the active roster. It looks like he might be ready for week 1, but had a little incident with some fireworks on July 4th. So, we told him to be careful. We did our part.
We did.
So, as far as departures, they did lose. There you go. They did lose Joey Bosa. Joey Bosa now in Buffalo.
Joey Bofa.
Josh Palmer also now in Buffalo. And Christian Fulton. In the draft, again, a pretty good draft for this team. Omarion Hampton, a running back.
I like Omarion Hampton a lot.
Maybe a sneaky offensive rookie of the year candidate. Trey Harris from Ole Miss, wide receiver. Aronde Gatson from Syracuse. And then Kyle Kennard, who's a defensive end from South Carolina.
We also missed another signing.
Who's that?
Keenan Allen, another receiver. Back in his old haunting ground.
Of course. You could tell I did this like weeks ago when
I know.
Before all that. For the Chargers, their AFC South, NFC East, I feel like they kind of lucked out here. Second place schedule.
They did.
Steelers, Dolphins, and Vikings, which I don't know. If I were the Broncos, I'd much rather have those 3 teams than the 3 I'm saddled with, but we'll see. So you did allude to this earlier. They have already lost Rashawn Slater for the season.
Yep.
ACL. And when that happened, Donnie messaged me and said, Chargers are going to Charger.
Yep.
So
there's a reason it's called chargering. We were talking about that during our fantasy football draft. Someone brought up the Chargers being tough, and I said, I know, but they're also the Chargers. There's something will go wrong, terribly, terribly wrong. I will point out, peel the curtain back a little bit. Paul has in the show notes one of the questions: is the Super Bowl out of the question? I would say
I think it is. Yeah,
I think so.
It is now.
Yeah, especially when you're missing your all-star left tackle.
Again, I did this before the Slater injury, but it's really weird that so when the offseason started, after the draft, after free agency, it's kind of like the Broncos hype, for lack of a better word, really took off, and the Chargers was kind of the Chargers should be pretty good. And then it was almost like we were waiting for something. We're waiting for Rashawn Slater to tear his ACL. Like
we're
just
waiting for the charging to happen.
to happen, and it did. I wanted to ask this question, and I meant to have this discussion about Trevor Lawrence, and maybe we can have it next week or throughout the season. But at what point do we need to have a Justin Herbert discussion? Meaning, like, are we sure Justin Herbert's? I mean, he's good. Don't get me wrong. Speaking as a Saints fan, I'd take Justin Herbert tomorrow. But, like, you know, Harbaugh didn't draft Justin Herbert. I mean, I know he probably thinks the world of him. But, like, are we going to enter a situation? He does. But are we going to get to a situation where, like, let's say they go, I don't know. Let's say wheels fall off this year. They don't make the playoffs. Herbert's kind of not looking so good after the playoff loss last year. And, you know, like, do we enter some kind of funny territory of, like, but and I don't know who their backup is, to be honest. So it's not like
it's not Easton Stick anymore.
Oh, it's Trey Lance.
It's Trey Lance, that's right. Yeah, I was gonna say, like,
Trey Lance. Yeah, we know who it's not. Yeah.
Yes. I've narrowed it down a little bit.
But yeah, Trey Lance, I mean, we saw what Harbaugh did with a quarterback who's a little more mobile. Kaepernick, right?
I mean, he had a 101.7 passer rating last year.
Who did?
Justin Herbert.
Justin Herbert. Yeah, that's pretty good. So
yeah,
listen, this is all Paul just being silly, but, like, I think this feels like a big year for Herbert, I guess is what I'm trying to get to. Like, this feels like a year where we maybe at the end of the season maybe have a discussion about where he sits in the pantheon.
Well, I think on most of the quarterback rankings I saw, he's number 5 behind all the other, like, those top 4 guys that everybody like. so I would say I'm guessing that you would disagree. You would disagree with that. And
maybe
I will
give
him. Let me point out that the coaches that he has had have not exactly been, like, he hasn't gotten to work with, like, offensive gurus. Like, Kellen Moore is probably the best offensive coordinator he's had, right? And then the other thing right now is, like, if you look at, like, kind of the offensive weapons that they've had over the past 2 years, like, the fact that he did what he did last year was, like, pretty good, considering
That's
like their best wide receiver was Ladd McConkey, who's like Julian Edelman, basically. I think is like white lacrosse player. Like, that's so, like, it's not like he doesn't have Jamar Chase and T Higgins over here.
That's true.
So like
no,
I think I'll cut him. And I'm like you, where I'm probably not as high on Herbert as like I don't like him as much as everybody that, like, wants to put him a step below Joe Burrow as much. But, like,
yeah,
I think there are some mitigating factors around him where I will cut him a little bit of slack.
I look at Herbert as, like, a slightly better version of Trevor Lawrence.
Well, like, he does throw the ball very far, Paul.
He does.
And people get enamored with that stuff. It's like, you know,
they do.
He can throw the ball.
Oh, you mean like
like Joe Milton?
You mean like Joe Milton? Yeah.
Joe Milton can throw the ball 70 yards. How is this not like how is he not Patrick Mahomes?
Right. So to go into my rankings, then I actually have Herbert 10th. So I guess I'm not, like, I don't want this to seem like I'm down on him, but I just feel like this is a big year for Herbert. Like, at some point we have to start. And I come from this at a point of like if we're gonna have the conversation every year about Dak, about, like, what has Dak done, What's Herbert done? I mean, Herbert hadn't won a playoff game.
If Justin
Like, he had-
Herbert played for the Cowboys, no one would be ranking him 5th in the
Oh
league.
my gosh,
They'd be butchering him
Oh
for
my-
what he's done.
Just to complete my rankings here. So for the team, I have them 15th. Herbert, I have 10th, and then Harbaugh, I have 5th.
He has not
'Cause
won
I
a
do
Super Bowl.
think-
The other Harbaugh has won a Super Bowl. This is the Super Bowl.
Right. No, I get it. Yeah, I get it, but I still think he's. I mean, we saw it. He did the turnaround with the San Francisco. He did the turnaround with the Chargers.
Michigan.
I just with Michigan, obviously, yeah. But I was thinking more just NFL related, but I don't know this team's. They're kind of a. Yeah, they might be good.
I should also point out that Mr. Harbaugh also helped me get a viral tweet because he said like Moses, I'm going to lean heavily on my staff, and I said, Moses also had someone upstairs giving him signs.
I forgot about that. Great work by you.
One of my better tweets.
Great work by you. Yeah, listen, I definitely think that the Chargers, they should be looking in the rear view. I know they're looking ahead at the team we're going to talk about here in a second, but they should also be looking at the rear view mirror because there's 2 teams coming pretty fast behind them. So I guess that's where we'll leave them as we move on. You want to talk about the last team here?
Yes, the team that let me down in the Super Bowl, the Kansas City Chiefs, went 15-2, lost in the Super Bowl like a bunch of clowns. Their over-under this year is 11.5. Most important thing here is I think we can acknowledge is that their tight end will be becoming Mr. Travis Swift. So fans will have to buy new jerseys.
Yeah.
They signed offensive guard Trey Smith and offensive tackle Jalen Moore, as well as brought back linebacker Nick Bolton. They lost offensive guard Joe Thuney in a trade, defensive tackle Tershawn Wharton, and safety Justin Reed, who signed with the Titans. In the draft, they added Josh Simmons.
No, he didn't. Justin Reed is with the Saints. Thank you.
Oh, why did I think he went to the Titans? Oh, who's the no? Who's there's another person? No,
you take that back.
Hold on. Now I'm gonna have to. Who?
Maybe Justin Simmons. Is that what you're thinking of? But I don't think he's signed with anybody right now.
No, there was somebody else. Maybe I'm no. Okay, I'm gonna have to look this up later. Okay. They drafted Josh Simmons, Omar Norton-Lott, Ashton Gallott, and Jalen Royals. Their schedule is the AFC South, NFC East, and then by virtue of having a first-place schedule, they will play the Ravens, the Bills, like we're used to them playing every year, and the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, their schedule's basically the same every year, pretty much. You could bet on Ravens, Bills, and
Chiefs,
whoever else.
Chiefs, Bills,
Chiefs. Yeah, well, yeah, I'm saying for the Chiefs, their schedule's Ravens, Bills. Yeah. So with Kelce, I put this in the notes even before the announcement of his pending nuptials, but feels like he's getting towards the end. Travis Kelce, I mean, feels like he's getting towards,
I think there's a lot of chatter that this is going to be his last
ride.
Yeah, especially if they if he gets married. Oh, L'Jarius Sneed is the guy I'm thinking about, former Chief that signed with the Titans. But I think that was last year for some so I don't know why that was like. Yeah. Oh, L'Jarius Sneed sounds kind of like Justin Reed. That's
there you go.
Sneed, Reed. Nah, it's all this.
It's all the same. Yeah. So I've talked to you about this before, I think on the show and via text. The Steve Spagnuolo thing. I find him the most underrated part of this kind of mini dynasty that they've had.
I feel like real ball knowers appreciate him, like us.
But here's why I get frustrated. The Saints hired Steve Spagnuolo as their defensive coordinator the year after the Giants won the Super Bowl from the Patriots the second time.
Mm-hmm.
And this also happened to be the year 2012 that Sean Payton was suspended for the whole season, so that might have something to do with what I'm about to say. Spagnuolo comes to the Saints, and the Saints have literally one of the worst defenses in the history of the NFL. And then he leaves. He goes on to Kansas City, and now he's back to.
Didn't he go back to New York? Wasn't he the head coach?
I think he did.
Wasn't he with the Giants?
He might have. I don't remember, but like just that one season. And listen, I get it. Like the Saints probably didn't have the personnel to run his defense, but it's just like every time I see Spagnuolo, I'm like, man, worst defense, one of the worst defenses in NFL history in terms of yardage.
Yeah, so he was the defensive coordinator of the Giants from 2015 to 2017, and the interim head coach in 2017 for the Giants. And I remember this because Dak's rookie year, like he lost like two of the games that they lost were against the Giants, and like Spags was the defensive coordinator, and like the times we played the Chiefs, like our offensives never looked good against him in the Dak era. Like that's one of the ones that he struggles with. So
well, get ready for Thanksgiving Day, buddy.
Yeah, that does not bode well right now.
You know, I think we talked about this maybe when we previewed the Cowboys, but that's going to be one of the highest rated Thanksgiving Day games of all time. Has to.
Well, especially if Dak is healthy.
Right. If everybody's healthy, if everybody's playing, yeah. That's going to be one of the most watched Thanksgiving Day games of all time. Funny enough, they actually do the Texas two-step because they play at Dallas Thanksgiving, and then the next week they host the Texans.
Oh.
So funny enough, for what it's worth.
Former Dallas team, Kansas City Chiefs, by the way.
Yeah, that's true.
Have you ever seen their old Dallas Texans helmets? I like them.
I want to say I have.
Yeah, they have the state of Texas and like a little star on the Dallas. Like it's kind of cool.
Yeah. So all I really want to say about the Chiefs in terms of the other teams in the division, if you're going to get them, now's probably the year to get them.
Well, they they went 15-2, and like their point differential was like 30.
Yeah,
because of the fact that they were like they weren't blowing teams out. They were just kind of like strangling the life out of you. Like it hasn't been their 2018 offensive season for a while now. Like it hasn't been that.
Right.
It's we should also point out there was news that came down related to the Chiefs today.
Yep.
Not related to the Mr. Swift, but related to Rashee Rice, who is going to take a 6-game suspension
to start the season.
To start the season, which I'm really disappointed in because I was hoping he would play those first 4 games and then have his meeting and then get a big suspension so that he wouldn't be there for Thanksgiving.
So we should, just to go through their first 6 games, they have the game in Brazil against the Chargers, which is technically a home game for the Chargers, but it's in Brazil. They come back, they host the Eagles, they got a Super Bowl rematch week 2. They go to the Giants week 3. They host the Ravens week 4, go to Jacksonville week 5, and then host the Lions week 6. So kind of a tricky schedule, I'd say. I mean, obviously there's some games in there like the Giants and the Jags. You feel like they should win pretty easily, but strange things happen in the NFL.
I don't know. I'm me and the Jags this year.
That's true. That's true. They closed the season out. So again, we mentioned the Thanksgiving game. They play Buffalo the first week in November, so that feels early, but no, it is what it is. We mentioned the Thanksgiving game against Dallas. They come back, they host the Texans and Chargers, go to Tennessee, and then end the season Christmas Day. They host the Broncos, Christmas night, I should say. And then last game of the year, they're at Vegas, which who knows? By that point, that game may not mean anything for the Chiefs, but it might mean something for Vegas.
Or it might not mean anything for the Raiders. It might mean something for the Chiefs.
Right.
You never know, Paul.
Right.
You never know.
You never know. I'll ask this question real quick before we move on to the rankings or to the division standings. Andy Reid, Hall of Fame coach already?
Yeah.
If you retired?
First ballot, not a question.
So. What about Mahomes? Is Mahomes a Hall of Fame already?
Yeah, he will. I think if you won 3 Super Bowls, you're pretty much in.
Okay. That was my thinking too. I just wanted to confirm. Not crazy. Real quick on the Chiefs, my wager for them. This was kind of a weird one. I think I mentioned this one to you offline.
Oh boy, here we go.
My wager for the Chiefs, and I got this at plus 320, is for them to lose in the wild card round of the playoffs. Make the playoffs, but lose in the wild card round. So that would mean either they get in as a wild card team or they're not the number 1 seed. And
because then
they host, whoever, and end up losing to that team.
I'm actually surprised it was only 320. I would have expected it to be a little higher, I think.
Yeah. Now I got this a couple weeks ago, so it might be. I'd have to look to see what it is now. But all right, we want to get to how we see it shaping out. I will say I've done a little bit, not so much with this division, but with the next division we're going to talk about. I've done a little reshuffling in the last week or so. Okay, so let's start here. Wait, hang on. Let me get to the right. Okay. AFC West in fourth place in the AFC West. You have the
Las Vegas Raiders
with a record of
7-10.
Okay. Who do you have in third place?
So I have a tie.
Okay. So hang on one second. So I have a tie, but it's a tie for fourth.
Okay. With the Raiders.
So I have the Raiders. I have the
Chargers.
Raiders and the Chargers at 9 and 8.
Okay.
And then who do you have the Chargers in third place?
So I have
tie. Okay, sorry. Yeah, sorry. You have a tie. Yeah.
So I have a tie at 11-6 with the Chargers and the Broncos.
Okay, so I have the Broncos at 11-6.
Okay.
Alone in second place.
So those 2 games we're basically because I have LA at 11-6 and Vegas at 7-10. So you just have those. So we have 2 games basically just off there.
Right.
So we both have the division winner still reigning.
The Chiefs.
Yep.
At what record do you have them at?
What do you have them at, Paul? You go first this time.
I have them at 12-5.
14-3. I'm thinking, I think I may.
Surprised.
Yeah, I may take them down to 13 because I was looking and I was like, maybe I should give Baltimore that game this time because that was a close one last year. So maybe I may bump up Baltimore a game and then make Kansas City 13-4. But
yeah, okay. All right. Well, how many? Oh no, we'll do playoff teams next week.
Oh yeah, I need to I have to. That means I have to like figure out. I've got to go through tiebreakers now. Yeah.
But I mean, there's some folks who think all 4 of these teams can make the playoffs,
I
which
mean, it's possible.
it's
You're gonna
possible.
you're gonna need some help from some other divisions, though.
Yeah, well, you would have. So basically, what would have to happen is every other division would only have to send their champion. Like you
Right.
know what I mean? Like you can't. You'd have to have. So 3 teams that don't win the West would have to sweep the AFC South. Basically, would have to sweep the AFC South and win at least 2 out of 3 of their non-divisional other game or their other 2 AFC non-divisional games, pretty much, like to get that for that to happen. All right, buddy, you ready for our last division?
Yep. Let me get us teed off over here. The NFC West.
Last, but certainly not least.
No, we covered the least last week.
Yeah, we did. Next year we should do that. We should just go in order of
Suckiness.
Of suckiness. All right, NFC West. Let's kick off with the team that finished in 4th last year, and that was surprisingly the San Francisco 49ers. Finished 6-11 last year. They're over under this year a whopping 10.5. They signed Luke Farrell, DeMarcus Robinson, and Kyle Juszczyk was a re-sign, their fullback. They departed ways with Deebo Samuel. Deebo Samuel now in the NFC East, as we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
They lost Aaron Banks to the Green Bay Packers, and Trevarius Ward, who I believe went to the Colts, if I'm not mistaken. In the draft, they got a couple of they kind of stocked up on defensive linemen. They got Mikhail Williams from Georgia, your guy, Alfred Collins from the University of Texas, Upton Stout, who I believe is a corner. He's not a defensive lineman.
With that name, he should be playing defensive line.
Probably. They did get defensive tackle C.J. West from Indiana, and they also drafted quarterback Curtis Rourke from Indiana.
Travarius Ward is in Indianapolis. I have confirmed.
Okay, that's what I thought. Here's the good news if you have an NFC West team. They play the NFC South and the AFC South this year. The 49ers, in addition, by virtue of finishing in last place, get to play the Bears, the Giants, and the Browns. So if you're wondering why they have a 10.5 win total, that's why.
They have what has been based on an analysis of win totals of team schedules. They have the easiest schedule in the league going into the season. And now, obviously, that could change based on how teams look. Like you always look at teams' strength of schedule going into the season, and things end up being different just based on the fact that teams end up being better or worse than we expect. But going into the season, they have the easiest schedule right now.
Right. Yeah. So for the 49ers, this is kind of a sneaky, could Kyle Shanahan be on the hot seat type of situation? I
think this is also a question of like, could he just be like done, right? Like, could he just like say, and you don't have this on the sheet, but it looks like Brock Purdy also has an extension kicking in because he signed his big contract this year,
right?
So that's another re-signing.
That's right. But yeah, their receiver room is kind of decimated at this. It's like Ayuk is injured. I think basically Ricky Pearsall is their best receiver right now.
Their best healthy receiver right now is the guy who got shot last year. So that's where they are right now. Oh, we should also add that they traded for former commander Brian Robinson.
I have it here that Saints legend Marquez Valdez-Scantling signed with the 49ers.
That's when you know you're desperate for wide receiver depth, is when you're at an MVS.
They also traded for Chiefs receiver Sky Moore.
Yes.
That was another trade that happened. And Brian Robinson Jr. at running back from the Commanders. They also had that trade. So, listen, I think a lot, obviously, the health of their wide receivers notwithstanding, a lot's going to come down to McCaffrey, too. Like, if McCaffrey is truly healthy and he's truly back, Brian Robinson will help, too, if McCaffrey has a setback.
Mm-hmm.
But if this team can just get back to, like, run the ball, Purdy doesn't lose the game for us, and our defense is – now, I think their defense is not going to be as good as it's been in past years. They did lose Brandon Staley, who was their – I don't think he was the defensive coordinator for them. Well, they did bring Robert Saleh in.
Yeah, that's one
back
of
from the Jets.
Yeah, we should have
Should have mentioned that, yeah. Which I think will be good for both parties, for both Saleh and for the 49ers to
the Jets defense wasn't really the issue when Saleh was the coach. The main fact was the fact that the main problem was the fact that they couldn't find a competent quarterback the entire time he was there. Like they had Zach Wilson and then the shell of Aaron Rodgers were the two options that got trotted out there for him. So the Jets didn't really do him any favors on the offensive side of the ball.
And and the 49ers still do have Nick Bosa, who, still one of the better, when he's healthy, one of the better pass rushers in the league. So I'm not as high on them as some people.
I'm high on them because of the fact that their schedule sucks.
Well, yeah. So that's the thing. It's like I kind of talk myself out of them, and then I go back and look at their schedule, and I'm like, man, they got to win.
Which games are they losing over here, really?
Right. Like who's beaten? Like, you telling me they're going to – so the 8 games against the NFC and AFC South, they should be 5-3, 6-2 in those 8 games at least, I would think. And then, Bears, Giants, and Browns, those 3 extra games, like, that doesn't –
the Bears might be a tough. The Bears might be kind of a tough out. But other than that,
that's true. Yeah.
Other than that, I don't know. I don't know about the Giants. I keep wondering if I should upgrade my thoughts on them based on the fact that their defensive line is supposed to be really good. I don't know.
Yeah, I keep thinking that's going to be the strength of the Giants team. Is their defense? Am I good?
Yeah, I can hear you. You're still good over here. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. My computer was acting funny.
Acting fool.
Well, let's move. Maybe it's the 49ers wanting me to stop talking about them. So let's move on to the next team.
All right, hold on a sec. All right, the Arizona
Cardinals. Sorry, wait, real quick.
Oh, you need to give your
real
rankings.
Quick,
do that.
Let me get my rankings. Yeah, let me do that. 49ers. All right, team ranking I have 14th, quarterback ranking 13th, and coach ranking 11th. And my wager for the 49ers.
You're way lower on Kyle Shanahan than I am.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't really have a good reason for it. It's
because he keeps blowing leads in the Super Bowl. Is that it, Paul?
Yeah, maybe that's it. But for the 49ers, I did take them as the division winner at plus 156 was my wager there. So,
and we'll get to this later, but there's a especially given that one of the other challengers here has some question marks.
Right. Well, I think all four of these teams have question marks.
Yeah.
To be fair, but
Question mark in the Mysterians.
Right.
All right. Next up, Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals were 8-9 last year. Their over-under this year is 8.5. Signings, they added Josh Sweat, Baron Browning. Do you think he drives a LeBaron? No Baron has ever owned a LeBaron. They also re-signed Trey McBride, the tight end. They lost linebacker Kaiser White, offensive tackle Kelvin Beachum, and edge Dennis Gardeck. The draft, they added Walter Nolan, Will Johnson, Jordan Birch, Cody Simon, Denzel Burker, and my man Hayden Connor. So they will have two. They've got two Connors. This is my team right here.
Might be.
Yeah,
this might be it. They play the Cowboys this year.
They do play the Cowboys. They also play the Packers and the Bengals as part of their non-division schedule with their third place finish last year. Paul, is this the year? Is this the make or break year for Kyler Murray? Is this it? Like is Mr. Call of Duty finally on his last chance?
So I think I've mentioned this to you on the show or maybe via text. I feel really good about this team, except for the fact that their quarterback is Kyler Murray. You know what I mean?
What a vote of confidence right there.
Well, like I look at their defense and what they did in the draft. Now we should mention Walter Nolan, I think, has an injury that's going to keep him out week 1 against the Saints. But I don't think it's going to be a IR situation. Well, it might be. I don't know, but I thought I read that the other day. But I keep trying to think who's a quarterback that if they were the quarterback of the Cardinals would make me go, yep, this is a division winner. You know what I mean? Because
Dak Prescott.
Yeah, sure. That definitely would be. He would be one, because I feel like
Justin Herbert.
Here, let me just. Yeah, honestly, yeah. Let me fast forward to their rankings real quick. Cardinals. So I have their team ranking 22, but the quarterback ranking I have 24th.
Yeah, you're not. I don't think either. I think I remember last year or the year before. I texted you. I was like, "What are your thoughts on Kyler Murray?" I think your response was probably not worth the headache. Was basically.
Well, no, because I think I was in the context of I was looking at it in the context of what I want, because I always think of it what I want him as the Saints quarterback, and I definitely would not want Kyler Murray as the Saints quarterback.
Well, I think they talked that Clayton Adams came over to Dallas, and one of the things that he talked about somewhere, and I don't remember where it was, but he said that basically it was yeah, Kyler doesn't really want to run. He's known as kind of a scrambler, but he didn't actually want to run, so we couldn't call a lot of designed run plays because he didn't really want to do that. Which I don't know if it's part of his size. His size is kind of a problem, because if he takes big hits, that's going to be an issue. He's not the biggest guy. He's not Cam Newton, where he's going to be able to withstand some of the bigger bodies hitting him. But I'm surprised that he was just nah, I don't want to do that.
Right. Yeah, because I look at this team on paper. Obviously, James Conner, your cousin, very good running back. Trey McBride, probably a top 5 tight end in the NFL. Receiver-wise, I know Marvin Harrison had a disappointing rookie year, I would say.
Disappointing in the sense that, especially, I think a lot of his disappointment was what expectations were going in.
Right.
This guy is going to have 1,500 yards receiving as a rookie, and when that didn't happen, it's okay, what a letdown.
If his last name was not Harrison, it probably wouldn't have been, or if his name wasn't Marvin Harrison Jr., he probably would have been that disappointing. Who are their other receivers on this team?
Greg Dortch. Is Greg Dortch still there?
Let's see. We got Greg Dortch. Yep. We got Michael Wilson.
I was going to say Michael Floyd. It's been a while since he's
Nope.
been around. I don't think he's still there.
Michael Wilson, Zay Jones.
Former no.
You thinking of Zay Flowers?
No, wasn't Zay Jones somewhere else before?
Zay Jones was with Buffalo, the Raiders, the Jaguars, and now the Cardinals.
Okay.
They also brought back Calais Campbell on the defensive side.
Speaking of players rejoining their old teams.
Right. But yeah, like their defense looks, Buda Baker is, a lot of people think is like one of the best safeties in football. Will Johnson would have probably been a first round pick had he not had these injury questions coming out of Michigan. I kind of like this. I like this team. I really would like to get behind this team, but it's just the Kyler Murray. Now, listen, they play the Saints week 1. It's very possible Kyler Murray looks like an MVP week 1 because the Saints, doesn't matter who the defensive coordinator is, do not do well against running quarterbacks. Period. Like, just doesn't happen. So we could be revisiting this. We could be when we recap week 1 and preview week 2. We could be like, "Hey,
Paul's
Kyler
going to be
pretty good."
Paul's going to be demanding the Saints trade for Kyler Murray now.
Right. I do not think the Cardinals would be much better with Spencer Rattler, for the record.
Although having Spencer Rattler in Arizona, where the baseball team is the Diamondbacks, would kind of like,
that would
great, some really good branding opportunities right there.
Real quick, my wager for the Cardinals at plus 174. I have them 4th place in the division.
Okay.
So that felt like the one to go with there. And I gave their rankings already. Anything else on the Cardinals?
Nope. I think we're ready to
all right, let's
move
go
on
to the Seahawks. Our friend Trang, friend of the show, did she give us any other feedback about?
No, I'll tell her. I'm going to tell her. I'll let her know that we were talking, and I'll let her know what we said, so she can, approve or disapprove.
Okay. Well, last season, this team missed the playoffs by mere percentage points, like literally percentage points. They finished 10-7. Over/under was 8.5. They do bring in a new offensive coordinator from the Saints, Clint Kubiak. So, Train, good luck with that. They also they traded
on the situation.
No, I'll talk a little more about that in a minute. They obviously traded away Geno Smith. They traded away DK Metcalf. They also lost Tremont Jones. They did bring in Sam Darnold. They also brought in Cooper Kupp, and they brought in your guy, DeMarcus Lawrence from Dallas. Another good draft, I think, here. Gray Zabel in the first round.
Gray Zabel was
jealous
big, was it Senior Bowl? Like,
Yep.
big board mover there.
Yep, absolutely. He went from like early day 2 pick to a first round pick at the Senior Bowl, basically. And then Nick Emanwari, who was a workout stud at the combine.
He just felt like a
Seahawk.
No, he felt like
Raven.
a Raven to me. But the fact that the team that drafted him, their head coach is the former defensive coordinator for the Ravens makes a lot of sense. So like spiritually it works.
They also drafted tight end Elijah Arroyo out of Miami. I thought reminded me of another former Miami tight end, not Jeremy Shockey.
Is it Jeremy Shockey, right?
Yeah, not Jeremy Shockey. And then somebody named Jalen Milroe, quarterback, who apparently they've got plays designed to use Mr. Milroe.
I imagine
we'll
those
see
will
throughout
not
the
be
season.
passing plays based on
Well,
Jalen Milroe is a very poor man's Jalen Hurts. He's like Jalen Hurts, and Jalen Hurts was actually worse at passing.
I will say Clint Kubiak did spend a whole season last year with Taysom Hill. Wonder if some of that will rub off as far as Jalen Milroe is concerned. So their non-division schedule, NFC South, AFC South, they get the Vikings, Commanders, and the Steelers as their extra 3 games. So a little bit of a mixed bag there. So Clint Kubiak, here's what I'll say about Clint Kubiak. And I've talked about this on the show last season. Clint Kubiak is a very good offensive coordinator. He just was not very good last year at making adjustments. Once defense, now the Saints were also riddled with injuries as well, but once defenses kind of figured out what he was doing last year, he did not do a good job of adjusting to that and coming up with, I mean, that's
what you said. This time you said it.
That's what I said. I said it. The one thing I will say about his offense, so his offense is obviously that stretch zone scheme, run the ball.
I mean, his last name is Kubiak, so like
his last name is Kubiak for sure. So I think Darnold's going to do well in that system. And the other thing I'll mention, Seattle has 2 pretty good running backs, Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. Pretty good tandem.
I will point out that Kenneth Walker is really good when he is on the field. He's a Bob Sanders type. Wait.
Right.
The one ability he struggles with is availability.
Yeah. We should have pointed this out with the 49ers. Seahawks 49ers is week 1. That's the first right out the box, right out the gate.
That's a way to kick it off.
It's a way to kick it off. Kenneth Walker, Zach, I thought they had another touted running back. I guess not. But then look, JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba,
came along.
Receiver.
They also we should also point out that there was another guy they lost. They lost Tyler Lockett to the Titans.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, and that could be. But I mean, they brought in Cooper Kupp. Now look, this isn't the Cooper Kupp of 4 years ago.
They traded one semi-washed wide receiver for another semi-washed wide receiver. That's kind of a.
There you go.
It's a wash.
They do also have Jake Bobo, who I think.
Jake Bobo. I love that stupid name.
Jake, I don't think your name's stupid at all. It's the name you were given, and
I think the Seahawks actually kept 2 tight end or 2 fullbacks on the roster.
I see 3 on their depth chart right now on ESPN.
Jalen Milroe doesn't count, Paul.
No, I see Robbie Oots, Brady Russell, and Wesley Steiner. Well, Wesley Steiner's on IR, so I guess he doesn't count. But so yeah, I did see who was. I think it was Ben Solak tweeted. I was like, Seattle kept 2 fullbacks on their roster. Football's back or something.
Football, that is an extremely it's the very Seattle thing right there.
Another very Seattle thing is good defense, and I think this defense has a chance to be pretty good. We got your guy we mentioned, DeMarcus Lawrence from the Cowboys. Another one of your guys, Byron Murphy, from the Longhorns. They're at nose tackle.
Well, I think
Leonard Wood.
Last year they also started out really slow, but once they kind of got healthy and were able to play guys where they needed to be played instead of that was when they kind of actually started to come on last year.
Yep. And obviously, Seattle always known for their secondary, the Legion of Boom back in the day. Devon Witherspoon, Kobe Bryant, Tariq Woolen
Mhm.
They got some good play. And then, of course, we should mention their home field advantage, right? That 12th man, that makes a difference when they're with some of these games. Let me pull up their schedule real quick. But actually, let me do the rankings first.
Okay.
And then we'll kind of talk about their schedule a little bit. So, all right. So, Trang, this is probably good news because I have the team ranked 21st. I have QB 23rd and their coach 22nd. So you're in good shape, Trang.
Yeah, here the Paul curse is alive and well.
Is alive and well. My wager for the Seahawks, again, this is a good sign for you, Trang. One win in the first
division.
No, I one win in the first 5 weeks at plus 430. So let's look at their schedule real quick. They pull up their schedule. Like we said, they do open with the 49ers.
We should talk about this because I feel like we kind of avoided the elephant in the room to this point. What do you think? How do we feel about Sam Darnold here? Like, that's a downgrade, right?
I think it is, but I feel like he's good for Kubiak's offense, like because he's that pocket passer. He's not going to look to run. He's, he'll do good off of play action. I want to say, and I don't have stats to back this up, but I feel like he was pretty good off of play action last year in Minnesota. So they're probably going to have a good bit of that this year with Kubiak. So yes, do I think Sam Darnold's a better quarterback than Geno Smith? Absolutely not. But in this offense, I think he'll be fine. So their first 5 games, they host the 49ers. They go to Pittsburgh. They host the Saints. They go to Arizona. Then they host the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. One win in those 5 games, they'll probably get more than that. Again, I did this a couple weeks ago. If I redid this, I probably wouldn't have done one win in the first 5 weeks. This is a team. There have been a couple teams that in the last few weeks I've started to hear good buzz about, and this is definitely one of them. I will say, I watched the first drive of their preseason game against the Chiefs, and their offensive line, now again, it's preseason, but their offensive line was moving the Chiefs back like nobody's business, and they were running the ball very well. And I kind of was like, this looks like a good football team. I think, again, we talked about it with a lot of these teams. They stay injury-free. That's going to be a big part of it. But I think the Seahawks might be a sneaky team.
Sneaky.
Which kind of contradicts my one win in the first 5 weeks. But, oh well. I'll be a walking contradiction. I don't mind that. Don't mind that at all. Anything else about the Seahawks? Trying, hopefully, the Seattle Sneakhawks. There you go.
There we go.
You never miss.
Never miss. I try. All right, let's move on to the reigning division champions, the LA Rams. Finished 10-7 last year. Over under for this season 9.5. Big question going into the season, obviously, is going to be the health of Matthew Stafford. They did bring in Devontae Adams and re-signed Alaric Jackson. They brought in Poona Ford, former Titan, I believe.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Departures: Jonah Jackson, Cooper Kupp, who we just talked about with the Seahawks. Edge, Michael Hocht.
That sounds good to me.
Sure.
No.
In the draft, they added Terrence Ferguson, Josiah Stewart, and Jarquez Hunter. Their 25 non-division schedule, they play the first place team, so they will play the Lions and Eagles in the NFC. And in the AFC, they will face off against the Baltimore Ravens. Paul, do you think that the doppelganger for Matthew Stafford, who came out of the cryogenic freeze chamber thing that they put him in, do you think he will be able to lead the Rams to another division title? What was the
Is this the
thing
same
that
guy?
what was the name of the machine that he went into at training camp?
Oh, I thought he just got an epidural. I didn't realize he was doing all
No,
this.
he went into some machine. Hold on. I'm gonna look this up while you.
So what I'll say is this: when I first started doing my rankings and my predictions, this was before the Stafford news came out, and I was pretty high on the Rams because I felt like with Stafford, with McVay, they were the only team in the playoffs that really gave Philadelphia any kind of fit, I would say, and that includes the Super Bowl against Kansas City. So I was thinking like, okay, got rid of Cooper Kupp, brought in Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams probably still has some juice to him. Stafford's coming back. You've got offensive line's still pretty good. The defense is still their defensive line's one of the best probably in the NFL with Byron Young and Jared Verse. But I felt really good about this. And then once the Stafford news hits, and it's like, well, who's their backup? Oh, it's Jimmy Garoppolo. Okay, now we might have to rethink this. Now, I do think Sean McVay. Well, here I'll just go into my rankings real quick. So I have them again. I did this pre-Stafford injury. I had the team as 9th. Stafford as a quarterback, I have 5th. And then McVay as a coach, I have 6th. So, like I said, I was pretty high on this team. I just with the injury, we'll see when we get to my win totals here in a minute. I had to kind of rethink like how they're going to look, with potentially Garoppolo at quarterback. Now, we haven't heard anything official yet, right, about Stafford. Like, as far as we know right now, Stafford's starting week 1 against Houston, and we'll go from there. If Stafford's healthy all season, which is a big if at this point.
That's a big if right there.
I feel like they can make some noise. They feel like they can, which that'll transition to my wager I made for them, which is at plus 860. They lose the conference championship, so they make it to the NFC championship, but they lose. Which again, if Stafford's healthy, I don't see why they couldn't do that. But again, that's the big question.
The machine that he was in was called an Ammortal Chamber.
Okay.
Which is a state of the art in restoration and rejuvenation, which delivers hours of restorative modalities in just one short 30-minute session that leaves most individuals feeling in a state of calm but caffeinated like energy. Would you like to guess at what? So you can buy this. I'm on their website right now. Would you like to guess how much one of these babies retails for?
Is it 5 figures?
6.
6 figures? Okay.
6 figures. So needless to say,
$200,000. Yeah.
It is $159,500. So
no, I'm not in the market.
I don't think either of us will be purchasing an Ammortal Chamber anytime soon. That you have to secure your chamber with a 10% deposit, so that's $15,950, and then you can get financing available with payments as low as $3,000 a month, Paul.
Oh, that's it?
That's it. You could be feeling fresh and rejuvenated in no time for the low price.
You better be feeling fresh and rejuvenated for $150,000.
I should walk out with a brand new body. I should be looking like I'm 18 again at that price.
Well, Stafford aside, what are your thoughts on the rest of this team? Where they
I don't know. I mean, it's McVay. I still feel like the offense is going to be good, and then Jared Verse is still there. Like, I don't know. Like, this all comes down to me on the fact that the fact that I don't think Stafford is going to be healthy. I do think that that adding Devontae Adams is a good piece. They still got Puka Nacua. Puka Nacua also, much like Kenneth Walker, struggles with the availability part of contributing to the team.
I do still think about, I think it was a couple weeks ago when the Stafford news first broke and we came on the show and said, so if you're Devontae Adams, you left Green Bay, you go to the Raiders to play with your
BFF,
your college buddy, Derek Carr, and he's gone after one season, and you're catching passes from Jimmy Garoppolo and you're complaining about it on the sidelines.
Speaking of which, if Matthew Stafford does go down, guess who he will be catching passes
Well,
from?
that's what I was, and yeah, so then you go to the Jets, you're like, oh, I'm going to go back and play with Rodgers. This is going to be great. It's not. Well, hey, I'm going to go to the Rams because Stafford's there, Hall of Fame quarterback, and sure enough, here we are.
So should we are we starting to see a pattern? Is Devontae Adams actually the problem?
He might be. I don't know. I still think this team is good. I feel like if the Stafford thing was really that concerning, why wouldn't the Rams call Atlanta about Kirk Cousins? Because
they're in denial.
Maybe, but I mean, Cousins knows McVay's
what about
offense.
The cap situation, though.
Well, that could be it too. That could be another. Yeah.
I mean, Kirk Cousins' contract is not exactly.
It's hefty.
Cheap. Yeah, it's got a little bit of a price tag there.
But yeah, it's like the Ammortal Chamber or whatever that thing that you. All right. Do you want to give our? So I have to be honest with you here, Brandon. This division, I like literally this week, I had to go back and recalibrate based on this Matthew Stafford situation. So, are you ready to start here?
Yeah, and okay. All right, so let's start with fourth place.
Fourth place, you go first.
All right, I've got Arizona 7-10.
I have Arizona. I'll hold off on giving their record here. Who do you have third place?
I have the Seahawks at 8-9. And a lot of that is just
you don't trust Darnold?
This is a Darnold question.
I do not have the Seahawks in third place.
Okay.
Who do you have in second place?
I have the Rams at 10-7, and I did this a while back when we still thought, and so like
Stafford.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I'm going to need to downgrade them, and so I feel like if that happens, what I'll end up doing is pushing Seattle up and the Rams down a little bit.
And so you have the 49ers in first place?
I do, and I have them 13-4.
Okay.
That schedule is bad, Paul.
So I have every team in this division I have at 500 or better.
Okay.
I have the Cardinals, Rams, and 49ers at 9-8. But winning the division, I have the Seahawks at 10-7.
We're not even close.
We're not even close.
We're not even in the ball. Like,
so first of all,
most of these we've been in.
Trang, I'm sorry. First of all, even though I've never met you, I don't. Yeah, I don't.
Well,
but
much for the Seahawks.
Yeah, so this is obviously the division we are just on different.
So every other division we've had we've been either like pretty much in line, or we've had.
Right.
Or we've
the
had like
order the same.
minor
Yeah,
disagreements. Like I think the biggest one before this was like I have the Jaguars winning the AFC South.
the South. Yeah.
Yes.
And I have the
But
Texans winning the South.
yeah, and I think we had the Steelers we had some disagreements on because I
Yeah.
had them actually finishing under 500, but I think we still had the order of the AFC North
We had the
same.
order right, but yeah.
Yeah.
But this one,
We're off the rails here.
I think we're in a similar place about the Cardinals. I think we're but it's those other three teams. Like I get the 49ers, I get their schedule's easy, but it's the show me you can stay healthy type deal. That's the thing
well, I'll look at their wide receiver room right now. They can.
Well, that's the thing. All three of these teams, aside of the Cardinals, it comes down to can you stay healthy, and
what's your quarterback look like?
What's your quarterback look like? I mean, do you trust Purdy more than Darnold at this point?
I trust Purdy in his system more than I trust Darnold in a system because Purdy has played in this system for his whole career now at this point. Yeah. Whereas Darnold, you are taking him out of an O'Connell system that is very quarterback friendly and you are moving him into a Clint Kubiak system that had a little bit of success last year in New Orleans, but like is basically basically untested here. And so like that, the uncertainty is what I am betting against in this situation. Whereas with Purdy, I've at least like seen it. Like I can see, even if they're like, I mean, this could go off the rails again if McCaffrey ends up, completely like maybe he's done, maybe he's not able to stay healthy for the long term anymore. Like there are ways that I can see that going off the rails, but given that I like their coaching staff. I like and I think that Purdy understands the system. And I will say this, like one of the things that they talked about on the Athletic Football Show with respect to the NFC West and particularly the Shanahan system is the Shanahan system has very rigid protection rules. And because of that, defensive coordinators basically can play with the way that they set up their fronts pre-snap to manipulate what happens with their protection and makes it easier to find sacks that way. If there's no adjustment there and Shanahan is basically like, this is how we do it, these are our rules, like does that continue to be a problem going through this season? So that's another question that I would have for them.
Yeah, I agree. Like I get it, and I think it's appropriate. The last division we previewed is the one that we're like, wildly
basically throw up our hands.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, that's just. Okay, so next week we will do our. I haven't talked with you about this, so I guess what we're talking about now. So next week we'll do our playoff teams. Do we want to do Super Bowl matchup and Super Bowl winner?
Yeah, we can do that.
And then do we want to do like MVP, offensive rookie of the year, defensive rookie of the year, coach of the year?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Offensive and defense. Okay,
sure.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Sure.
Well, I'll probably just be pulling up rebet and saying like, sorry, that looks good.
Yeah, I mean, I told you I did bet on a Pete Carroll to win Coach of the Year.
You did. That is true. You did.
And Brock Purdy to win MVP. So my logic with Brock Purdy is like, if the 49ers, do what they're
go 13-4.
Yeah, if they go 13-4, they're the 1 seed in the NFC, possibly. Like you're going to get.
Oh yeah, 13-4 is. Yeah.
So you're going to get some chatter there just because of the fact that they won a bunch of games and he's the quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any team in the NFC winning more than 11 games. So if the 49ers go 13-4, then they'll be by far the number.
I will say though, I actually have the Packers winning more games.
Well, there you go. So, and I put a wager down on Jordan Love winning MVP. So
there we go.
Yeah, so we'll do that. So next week we'll review college football. Do our
Get you
picks
set
there.
for week one. Get you set for week one.
Get your set for week one. We'll preview that, but then we'll also do the picks I just mentioned, the individual awards. We'll do our playoff teams. We'll do our Super Bowl picks. We'll also, when we do our picks for week one, we'll do both the spread and the confidence. We'll give you all that. Leading into week one, leading into first week of the season, we'll be recording either 2 days before or the night before the Eagles and Cowboy game. So we're looking forward to it. We're here, Matt. We're here, buddy. It's been a long stretch, but we're here.
We made it.
We made it. So we hope everybody enjoys some college football this weekend. Have a happy Labor Day on Monday. So I hope you enjoy a 3-day weekend if you get the chance to do so. And we will see everybody next week. And happy football.